and a warm welcome to the Aline with Aline Series 2, The Art of Healing. This week, the fabulous Roberto Amedeo Martocci is joining us again. You may remember him from Series 1, where he so generously shared with us his story of how he discovered dance and became a professional choreographer, which led him to the healing arts, where he is now a mystic. He is now a healer. He is a founder of the Ministry of the Diamond Light and a very, very beautiful heart-based person. So if you haven't listened to that or seen that podcast yet, I highly recommend that you tune into that one also. And today, Roberto has very generously come back to speak with us about creativity for intuitive empaths. As you know, this has been created, this series, because I really feel there's so many intuitive empaths that hide their beautiful creative gifts through not having support, through feelings of comparison overwhelm, through feelings of unworthiness. And the idea is to show you some incredible people who've been exactly where you are and to let you know you are not alone. Huge welcome, my lovely. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you for that warm introduction and and all the lovely things that you said. Um, yeah, it's like, when you say when you list some of the things and there's all these other things too.
Yeah.
I was kind of sitting there going, God, I do a lot.
You do. You're incredible.
No wonder I'm busy. But there's a reason for it.
Mm.
And I've studied a lot of different, healing techniques. I studied dance formally,
Mm.
and I studied music, and it's like I'm always wanting to learn
Mm-hmm.
um, things that interest me or have a passion for or excite me.
Mm.
And I always wondered, like, why do I do all of these things? Like, do I have, I've been doing this for like 20, 30 years,
Mm.
more like 30 years. And I just, it was hard to understand initially how it all fit together.
Mm.
And now it finally fits together for me. And when you say an act of creation, it's like we'll talk about the creative arts and not
Mm.
being supported. Oh my God, not being supported.
Yeah. That,
That
mm.
was that was that was a biggie for me. Like I had to fight for it.
Yes.
So it's like everything you do is an act of creation. So you really need to be mindful of what you do and know what you're doing and be excited about what you're doing and forgive the the
Jeez.
stumblings
Yeah.
that happen
Yeah.
because you're growing, you're learning. And even myself, it's like I've done so much, I've accomplished so much, um, and I still feel like I'm starting out and starting over.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And sometimes it could be really daunting, and
Mm.
sometimes I'll sit there and it's just like, my mind says to me, it's just like, you're so capable, you can do this, you've done this, this is how people, when you're working, facilitating healing with people,
Mm.
it's like it speaks for itself
Mm.
what's going on. And it's like, so why is that feeling sometimes
Mm.
ekes in of I don't even want to say not good enough, because I know I value myself and my worth, but like sometimes it just ekes in, and
Mm.
I think it has to do with its programming.
Yeah.
It's all
Completely.
the support
Yeah.
that I did not receive before, all the criticism,
Mm-hmm.
all the shut doors, all the um, you'll never be blah blah blah. This
Mm.
isn't the right thing to do. You need to do something more like traditional.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, those kinds of things, and
Yeah.
we all hear them all throughout our
It's a
life.
proper job. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And it's like almost like you don't get the respect for being true to yourself and
Yeah.
being authentic to
Really.
what you want to do.
Mm.
So you want me to just talk about it's just like my how I wasn't supported?
Yeah, well, what I was going to say to you actually, first of all, because you know about the when sometimes the feeling of unworthiness or not feeling unsure come in, and you already hit it so beautifully, saying, you know, because you didn't have that support around you, there's almost the way I see, you know, our inner critic is like an inner protector or a frightened child. So whenever we're going into something new, or we're going out of our comfort zone, or we're not quite sure where we're going, but we're listening to where we're going, even though we can't see where we're going, you know what I mean by that?
Yes.
No, we're following our guidance, then I call it the inner protector rather than inner critic, because all our inner protector is trying to do is protect us. And when we say, you know, I'm safe, I've got this, and we have to remind ourselves, don't we? I mean, I will ask you again about your experience when you were younger, but for some reason, I just felt to say that because that came up in another podcast episode as well about the inner critic as well. And I really find with creatives, with intuitive empaths, because you know I'm here to help creative intuitive empaths come out. And one of the biggies is you know, not feeling good enough. And you already said it, you know, feeling like people saying, oh, well, you're not going to do that, you won't be very good at that. I mean, for me, as an example, I was told that I was too sensitive to act.
What?
Yeah, I was told that I was seen as an academic, and I only found this out years later, but I was seen as an academic, and I wanted to pursue various things in performing arts, and I wasn't allowed. And I only found out years later why. I just, you know, I was told I was an academic and I wasn't allowed to do that. But that was burning inside me, you know? And it's not that I wasn't supported, I was supported in a different way. But I would like to talk about how you really weren't supported, if that's okay, my lovely.
Oh yeah, of course. It's a tragic story.
Get the violins.
You know, it's like, you know, I look back on it and I go, you know what? I did it anyway.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that was I chose to be born into that environment.
Mm,
You know, that's my belief, you know, that we choose that.
mm,
Um, and I became such a strong person, even as a 5-year-old, you know, and moving on. It's like there was always obstacles,
mhm.
obstacles, obstacles. And I'm like, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. I want to follow my passion, stuff like that. And I'm just like, and then I had no support. So it was like I was on my own.
You're doing your
I feel like
Heracles 10 challenges at 5.
yeah, it's the hero's journey
Yes.
times, you know,
A
20.
zillion. Yeah. Sorry.
And no, seriously. And that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And you know, from even a small child, it's like my mother wasn't there. She was addicted to drugs. So, you know, didn't really blame her. She suffered from depression. She had that. I knew, well, being an intuitive empath, even as a child, I
Mm,
could feel what she was feeling,
mm,
and she felt lost. She didn't feel angry or she didn't. She just felt lost,
mm.
and I knew why. And it was because she was abused by her father,
Right.
and I saw that in him when I was around him. I didn't see him doing anything, you
Mm,
know, sure, but it was in there,
mm,
and I understood it.
mm.
So um, it was like I basically was taking care of her.
Yeah.
You know, I was taking care of myself, and in
Mm,
that I was taking care of her.
mm,
So so that was the first part of not support. And my dad, you know,
right.
it was too hard for my father. He had to leave,
Okay.
and and it was like then I was with her and there was all this stuff going on and no support, and then my father finally got custody.
Okay.
of me. And then I was living with him and my grandparents. And that was like a wonderful time for me because they were a light. They were a light. It was what I didn't like. My grandmother was my mother. My grandfather I felt like was my father.
Oh, yeah.
And my dad was working and he was there. It was just
Mm.
like, it's just like, there, there, he didn't see me or didn't want to see me.
Okay.
And I think that's because I look like my mother and I represented the openness that she had and the intuitive side that she couldn't mentally handle
Mm-hmm.
her abilities.
Mm.
Like I believe she was psychic. She would dream
Mm.
about things. She would be a medium, that kind of stuff, but she never did it.
And she
It was
pushed it
it
down.
psychologically she
Yeah.
couldn't
Mm.
she wasn't ready
Mm.
to do that.
Yeah.
So I think she was trying to shut that part down too
Mm.
and take the pain away
Mhm.
from her childhood wounding.
Yeah.
And um he wasn't fully there. And I realized that when I went to camp one day and I was what, 8 years old, and it was a day camp, and there was a counselor there
Oh.
that a male counselor.
Mhm.
All the For some reason the female counselors were really mean. I don't know what that was about. It's not because they were women. It was just they just happened to be really mean.
Wow.
They were.
Okay.
And he was like, it was like he loved me, this
Oh,
guy. And it wasn't some weird
no.
thing. It wasn't like that at
Heart-based.
all.
No, no, no.
It
Yeah.
was it was like he he always smiled when he saw me. He saw me and he saw like the things that I would do and he was always encouraging and he kind of knew I was different in some way
Mm.
and he kind of took me under his wing.
Gorgeous.
So it was a great experience and I remember being he used to call me Lefty
Lefty.
in the Brooklyn Italian accent. Hey Lefty, right? So it was nice because I was left-handed
Okay, thank
and
you for
that's
clarifying
why.
that.
Not like I swing to the
I was
left.
going to say, we were going round in circles.
So anyway, this
Sorry.
long short story is so I remember being there once and we were watching people play and he was there and he was talking to me and I thought to myself, God, I really wish this guy was my father.
Oh,
And then I was like, wow, I was like, my father's not a terrible person, but
this man
that
understands
was the
me.
piece that was missing. So I wasn't
Yeah.
getting any nurturing from my
No.
father and definitely not from my mother.
Mm.
Then, and I remember there was a dance studio nearby, and I would watch on television videos and dancing and like old movies with my grandmother where they're dancing, and I was just like, oh my God, I would love to do. I loved it. Like I would
Mm.
always watch all of those things.
Mm.
And there was a dance studio literally like maybe 4 or 5 blocks from us.
Mm.
And I remember passing by there and I would always look in and I was just like, he'll never let me do it. He'll never let me do it. And he made some
Oh.
comments about dancers. I was like, oh, there's a dance studio. Men don't do that kind of thing.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, so I was just like, okay, that's not gonna happen. I didn't even ask for it because I knew.
Mm.
But anyway, so fast forward, he gets married to, the Ice Queen,
Yeah.
remarried, narcissistic. Um, I would say can be nice, but there's an agenda there, and just
Yeah, on her
she was
terms.
just
Yeah.
closed. The
Mm.
heart was closed. She was
Mm.
wounded. She was,
Mm.
and she never got over that, and she wanted my father to herself,
Mm-hmm.
so she would manipulate and all these things. So
Mm.
no nurturing there either.
No.
Things I wanted to do, they kind of stepped in the way or to try to discourage me and all of these things. So, I applied to college
What about your
and
grandparents? Sorry, were they? I mean, I know you said you watched the movie, sorry, the dance videos with
yes,
your grandmother. Were they really encouraging about you pursuing dance, or was it just wasn't spoken about because obviously your father had shut
I
it
didn't,
down?
I knew he wouldn't let it
Mm.
happen. And
Mm.
I was just like, you know what? I love being here with my grandparents.
Didn't want
I'm
to
getting
rock the
support in
boat.
other ways.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just, let's see. I just
Mm,
knew it was, I didn't know, I wasn't like, oh my God, I'll die if I don't do this.
mm,
But that was an indicator of
sure.
my love for it.
Hmm.
So I decided to go to a college that had a fine arts program, but I was into computers because I like technology and I
Mm,
was really great at math and stuff. So I was like, let me apply for a computer science program in college. But I want to go and make sure, excuse me, that there's a really great fine arts program there that has a dance program so that I can look into it.
mm,
Because I was like, I love this and I know I can do this. And I was always dancing around, but like I didn't know um, if I could do it.
mm,
And I didn't know if I really wanted to do it
hmm.
that way, you
Yeah.
know? So I took my first, one of my first electives was freshman year, first term in, and I was doing all the other stuff, but I took that class and I knew. And even my best friend, um, he had taken the class too because he just thought it would be good to learn how to dance socially.
Yeah.
And it was like he was just like, "This is way out of my league." And he's like, "Roberto, it's just like you've been doing this forever."
Could you describe
So
that feeling, please? Can you remember that feeling
yes,
when,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. It was liberating.
Mm,
I was like, wow, this is me. And like everything that I was feeling and being excited about and had a passion for was actually something that I truly wanted to do.
mm,
So I continued in the computer science program
mm.
and I double majored in
Excellent.
dance. And I started taking more and more dance classes. And then I phased out the computer science thing and
Okay.
went full on, to get a
Mm.
bachelor's in fine arts. It was dance, choreography, lighting design, stage management. We had to make our own costumes.
Oh,
So it was like
wow.
you
Yeah.
had to be able to produce your own show and
Hmm.
we had to learn every single dance style, like on that dance show. So you think you can, are we supposed to plug that show? No. So you think you can dance. And I was like, wow, that would have been incredible to have that
Mm.
because that's what we were doing.
That is incredible. What a program. I don't want to say program because that's kind of but what a course. An experience, learning, teaching. What a teaching.
Yes. And they
Yeah.
wanted us to be ourselves. They
Mm.
wanted us to be ourselves. So they nurtured your process and they nurtured you in what you wanted to do. And I went to choreograph and they said no, you need to take these two classes first.
Okay.
So these are the no's and the no's and having to prove yourself.
Hmm.
And I wanted to choreograph because I advanced very quickly, but the people that were auditioning, all the other higher students that were auditioning
Hmm.
for the shows that we would put on, and the teachers and they didn't know what I was capable of
Okay.
because I hadn't really proven myself
Hmm.
completely.
Mm.
They only saw me in the things that I was able to get, but I didn't get the kind of high level stuff.
Hmm.
I knew I was capable, so I didn't. I was just like, I'm gonna have to show them what I'm capable of.
So they just
And
presumed because you'd only just started, you didn't have that capability.
yeah, they didn't want to
Yeah.
have me in their work because they wanted people that they could easily,
Mm. But
teach. And
they
they didn't know that I can do that. I can learn things like that.
bet they're kicking themselves now.
Well, no, no, they're not because I work with them later. But
Okay.
they like, so I asked to do this,
Mm.
and the all of the faculty was like, we really think that you should take these choreography classes first and so forth and so on. And I said, listen, I read the rules, right? You said anybody can audition a work.
Hmm.
They'll have the dancers available to audition from the classes, and um, everyone will get a budget, and you don't get guaranteed to be in the show. You have to present it. We had several showings. You had to present it, and then they would look at it and see if you were capable of pursuing it further. They give you notes. And then at the end, then they would, when you finally completed the work, to the level they wanted, then they would accept you into the show. So I said, let me prove myself. I said if it's terrible, I'm not in. Okay. And if it's great, then great. So they agreed. And then I went home that night.
Knock their
And
socks off.
here's the self-doubt part.
Okay.
Because I was just like, I can do this. I can do
Yeah.
this. I felt it. Feeling is so important for bringing things to you. Um, and I just like, I got home that night and I said, what did I just get myself into?
Wow.
So the reason I said all that and I say this is because in the beginning of this, I was saying, oh, I do all of these things, all of doing these things. It's just like, oh my God, I do a lot. Like, what did I get myself into? But of course, it's like I'm much more mature now. So it's like this is my mission. So of course, whatever it takes. And then I remember the times that I really had no support and had to do it myself. And I feel similarly now, like I'm doing this myself. But this time I'm just like, I get to do this myself, and I get to do this my way, and I get to see what works and doesn't work. So I shifted my perspective to a more healthy perspective. So when those little fears and doubts come in, it's not so insurmountable. It doesn't feel insurmountable. It's just like, oh, I just need to do this, or this didn't work, so I need to refocus here.
Yeah.
So just to end that part of the story, fast forward, I presented at the first showing, and we finished it was a very athletic piece. It was very hard for us physically. We had to work on it for months just to be able to complete it.
Wow.
That's how physically demanding it was. And it was like we showed it, and then all the women, there were 4 women in the piece with me, and they ended on the floor, so they stayed on the floor, and they were all huffing and puffing, and I was like,
Hang on.
and the whole, you audition this in front of the entire classes, the entire school, and the entire faculty. You could hear a pin drop, dead silent. And I'm like standing there going, are they going to say anything? Was it that bad? And I was like, I'm like, is everything? I was like, was it that bad? And their like mouths were open, and they just said, just keep doing what you're doing. We can't believe you did this. And I was like, wow. And I told them, I was like, I didn't even think I could do this. They said, well, you didn't show it, like when you were asking to do this. I said, well, I wanted to see. So I think, we need to always be curious about those feelings we have that we truly want to do something, because we're meant to. That's our soul, I think. Just is, instead of a passion, it's a soul yearning.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know it until you experience something.
Well, sorry. Yeah.
I'm sorry. So just the excitement part, just be curious and try it.
Yeah. And enjoy
and
it.
See.
Yeah.
And enjoy it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be your career. It could be something that you just love to do, that brings you joy and opens your heart, and lets you get to know yourself and value yourself and that kind of thing. What were you going to say?
No, all I was going to say was ask a question, because I completely agree with what you said. It doesn't have to be your career, but it's so important to have something I was speaking about this yesterday, actually, in one of the episodes. It's so important just to do something for absolutely no reason at all, just to enjoy it and have fun. And there's such a with the creative arts, with dancing, with singing, with painting, with there can be real judgment. So there's 2 parts to this. So if there's people who've got just this burning passion, you know, they don't know why, you know, in the same way that you watch the videos with your grandma and you were absolutely immersed and enthralled. If there are people out there who, and you've explained it already so beautifully, just explore and be curious. But if there's an element of, lack of support, or the unworthiness, I couldn't possibly go and join a group, I couldn't possibly go and do that, is there anything that you would advise anybody in that moment? So intuitive empaths, basically, I mean, everybody, we're all getting more and more intuitive, but somebody in that situation who keeps holding themselves back because of, I suppose, the fear of the unknown or fear of judgment and unworthiness. I mean, what would your pearls of wisdom be, please?
Yeah, or even fear of not succeeding.
Yeah, not
And
succeeding.
sometimes it's even worse. It's like you're being forced to do other things. Like, sometimes it's really bad. It's just like not like, oh, we don't support you.
Yeah.
It's just like, my stepmother was adamantly always trying to not let me have joy. So she would manipulate and stand in the way of she would stand in the way of me doing things that I loved, or try to make me feel bad about it. So that, I just wanted to bring that up because sometimes it's not subtle and it's really hard. So to answer your question is what I did. I waited until I could take myself out of that environment in order to explore it. So I was very patient. So instead of fighting what I knew was a brick wall, because I would test. I wanted to be in the school play, and I got a lot of grief for that.
Wow. Okay.
And I did it anyway, and they did horrible things in the process. But like that's another story. And to me, it's just a story. It's like not my story anymore.
It was an
So
experience.
yeah. So the two things I would say to answer your question is, and it's so hard to do, right? It feels like it is. Don't take that on your own. That's their limited belief of who you, that's their version of who you should be, based on how they grew up and the world they were in, and their obstacles and their things and things they didn't overcome, and they tried to do things and it was difficult, and what their parents didn't approve, whatever it was, society didn't approve, or you just, anyway. It's like they're looking at life through that filter because they haven't, at least that era, a lot of them, they didn't do that inner work.
Yes.
That, we're all like, I need to cleanse. I need to, inner work. So that's the result.
Yeah,
That's the result of that.
Sorry. Yeah.
They couldn't be in their hearts.
No.
So they couldn't express the true thing. I know my dad might have wanted to do other things, but like he just didn't. So, and he went a more traditional route, and he wanted me to do that. So I know I'm sort of answering the question, but like, do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, get yourself out of the environment.
Yeah.
It's like, even in my, marriage that I left, it wasn't an environment for me to full on do the ministry of the diamond light.
No.
To be a healer, to be a mystic, to be all of those things. And I was doing them in the background. I was just doing them alone.
It's so important for environment, isn't it?
And being discouraged by my own spouse. Like,
yes.
Yeah. And I was just like, you know what? I need to take myself out of this environment. So I think that's like a really big thing. And it took some time to get out of the environment. It's not always an easy step, but I felt like, this is do or die.
Yeah.
Kind of moment. And, I'm getting up there in age. I know I don't look it, but
you really don't.
It's like, should I spill it? Should I spill it? No.
Do you want to?
I'll just keep you guessing. I'm 54. Okay. I'm 54 years old.
I know.
And it's like,
and really, really don't look it.
Yeah, no real smoke and mirrors. Maybe some hair dye to get rid of the gray, and just to, You know, anyway,
Anyway,
so
yeah.
it's never too late. That's another thing.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Never too late to start over.
Yes. There's actually a third part that I've just felt into, but please carry on, and you're covering it already.
So you've got to do these things and explore these things anyway
Mm,
for yourself. This, I don't know why I'm closing my eyes, but this is your life,
mm,
okay, to live.
mm.
You can't live someone else's version of your life.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be expected to. And if someone expects you to, then you don't need them in your life. It doesn't matter if it's a parent, a brother, sister, a
Mm,
friend, a
mm,
spouse,
mm.
whoever. If you're not getting respect, you're not receiving support. And it doesn't have to be they're doing stuff for you.
Just
You know,
acceptance of who you
they're
are.
just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's great when they do, but
Mm,
like it could be like, wow, I really respect that you're doing this for yourself. I may not, you know, that's not something that I would do or for me, but let's see where you go. How
mm.
many people have people like that in their lives or have chosen, especially empaths, because
Yes.
we attract our lessons. So
Yes.
but we feel them so deeply too. So it's
Massively.
really,
Yeah.
it's just like lose the luggage,
Yeah.
and I mean people that don't that they're not there. They're there to make you into something that you're not.
Yeah. No, completely. And I was actually listening back because I said she didn't.
They
I was
feed your fear and doubt
yeah. Yeah, completely. I was
to keep
because
you in place.
yes. Yeah. And all I was saying, because I was listening back to the episode with you before, and I also listened to I just started listening to the episode where I was explaining about what was happening with me. And something as you were talking really came up for me then as well to share, because when we're intuitive empaths, we feel it so deeply, don't we? Empaths, yes, you feel, elements of what's happening with emotions of others. Intuitive empaths, we get the messages, we get triple zillion fold feelings of what everybody else is feeling. And for me, I had this little revelation that unconsciously when I was younger, I made the decision that, okay, so for me to feel okay, everybody around me needs to feel okay. So I will make sure that everybody's happy so I feel happy. So it's like, okay, yes, I'll be the good girl. Yes,
Doesn't
I'll do.
work.
No, yeah, exactly. So
It just
if
it keeps
it keeps the
the
peace, but
atmosphere level, but you're the one suffering
completely. So
or
that's
being depleted.
yeah, massively. So that's one of the things that I was really feeling to share as well. If anybody's in that kind of situation where you're exhausted from looking after everybody else. I mean, yes, we all look after our families, we all look after our friends, but there has to be an even balance. So if anybody's in that situation where there's so many desires, creative desires, or anything that you wish to do, but you're putting that on hold for others, stop. Stop pleasing everybody else and looking after everybody else, and
And
really
you,
put yourself first. Yeah.
yes, I mean, when you say that, I raised three kids,
Yeah.
but I didn't
Yeah.
stop.
No.
I
No.
didn't. And busy, anybody that especially the way I wanted to, you know,
Mm,
nurture them and
mm,
make sure that they were independent and they could follow their stuff and just
mm,
the support.
mm.
It was their show.
Yeah.
It was just I was helping guide them, which is
Mm.
I do this with people, but like
Yeah.
adults, but like guide them, allow them to see, not just guide them, allow them to see
Yes.
the value of the process of them discovering where they're going.
Yeah. Completely.
I didn't even know I was going to say that, but
Yeah. I
like,
love that.
but that's what it is, and I didn't get that, so I wanted to provide that, and to me, that part of you know
You nurtured.
helping raise children
Yeah.
was very healing
Yes.
for
Yeah.
me as well,
Yeah.
because I was healing the past, breaking the chain
Mm,
of the karmic chain, whatever you want to call it,
mm.
of what the father did, but
Yeah.
so or didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it differently.
Yes.
but it also, lots of things happen. They're in school, they're this, the projects, they're this, the running around, the whole thing. When do you have time for yourself? And I know this, you know, this happens with men too, fathers, but mothers, you know, like
Mm.
fathers in a way, if it depends on the work dynamic. Like if, you know, I took on the responsibility of nurturing the kids because I knew I could and he couldn't, you know. So so the busyness, it's because I was thinking about this when we were talking before we did this, that I always have a million things that I can do, that to do,
Mm.
but I say, you know what? They will get done.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I didn't do everything for my children.
Mm.
And they would say, "Can you do this?" And I'd be like, "But you're capable of doing this yourself, aren't you?" And they're like, "Yes." And I said, "Well, go for it. And if
Mm.
you come have an issue, yeah, I'll help you."
Mm.
So it's allowing them to do it for themselves.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
that helped a little bit with, you know, managing time.
Mm.
And it was a healthy thing for them to do.
Mm.
It wasn't like I was enslaving them like my stepmother did to me. I was polishing the banisters, you know, I was the landscaper, like everything.
Cinderfella, yeah.
Yeah, Cinderfella. Cinderfella. Um, no glass slipper, honey. And no Prince Charming at the end of it.
No, no mice or pumpkin either.
Yeah, all I
Oh.
got were they were gorgeous, but they were pumpkins.
Mm.
So anyway, going off the tangent,
Yeah.
um,
Funny that we do that.
you always have to make time, and I was able to.
Mm.
And I didn't have a lot of time. So, okay, saying pursuing something artistic, because we're talking about art and
Mm.
healing. And I do want to talk about how artistry
Yes.
is healing. Because when
Yes.
you asked me originally, what did it feel like
Mm.
in college in that first
Mm-hmm.
class, and that knowing
Mm-hmm.
and the thing and the liberation I was talking about, um, it was, I just totally lost the thought.
Do you want me to remind you?
No, I know what we talked
Okay.
about, but what I was going to say, um, well, it'll come back if it needs to come back.
Yeah, completely. But we're
But anyway, the
absolutely
busyness,
going.
making the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So my kids were into music and they wanted musical instruments, you know, and they wanted to learn how to play. So we provided that. I provided that
Mm.
for them. We had a piano
Mm.
in the house. They play piano. One,
Gorgeous.
my daughter has a beautiful voice. She does not want to sing in public.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
She sings to herself.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like,
beautiful.
vibration
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
frequency and stuff. She soothes
Perfect.
herself. She was doing that as a 2-year-old on the
Wow.
potty. So I was like, perfect pitch at 2. I was like, okay, I wish I had perfect pitch like that.
Mm.
Pitch perfect. So anyway, they were doing all of that, and I had put the music thing on hold
Yeah.
for a little while. Um, and there was music in the house again. And I was like, wow. And then like whenever one of the kids were like, oh, I'm too tired because they were doing other things. They have all this, I can't take my lesson. I'll be like, okay, I'll take it. Because I'm not going to cancel. It's already
No.
paying for it. You don't do
Hmm.
that to people,
No.
last minute. So I started doing piano and voice again.
Wow.
And it was just an hour
Mm.
once a week. I mean, you can carve out an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You can carve out 15 minutes to go like what sit
Get
under a
up
tree, do
earlier.
anything. And what I'm saying
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
because, you know, and over time I was able to get it done. And it turned from 1 hour to maybe 4 hours a week. And I wrote an entire album that way. It took a while, but I was able to accomplish it.
Mm.
So I had all this stuff that I was doing,
Mm.
that priorities, right? But I made myself a priority too. I said, I
Yeah.
can't lose that.
Yeah.
I can't lose, I can't do this for 18 years. They go off to college and then start,
Mm.
you know?
Mm.
So even with the healing practices and the mystical stuff and all of that, I was always training, working,
Mm-hmm.
making the time for myself. And I'm saying this because even those little moments, it's like your heart expands.
Massively.
That's what I was talking about, the love.
Mm,
Love is the big healer. We're
mm,
all seeking love,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Usually
Yeah.
seeking it from other people,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And because the things that have happened to us and how actually we process them, I think that's really important too.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
my brother processed the same stimuli very differently than I did.
Okay.
So he remains stuck in a patterning of self-destruction.
Um, okay.
He is able to accomplish amazing things, and he does, but then he destroys it,
Mm. Self-sabotage. Yeah.
self-sabotage.
Mm.
I process it differently. I was like, this isn't mine. I feel this. Oh my God. I feel like, I'm alone. And like and it hurt a lot,
Mm-hmm.
just to really basically raise myself
Yeah.
and not
What's
have
the
support
mm.
and struggle.
Yeah.
So, but I process it differently. So
Mm.
that's important. It's how we process things. And I'm getting to a point here. That feeling of love
Mm.
is like that feeling of expansion
Yeah.
and
We are in Chester
connection
at the
to
moment.
yourself
Yeah.
when you're doing something that excites you,
Yes.
that you enjoy, that helps relax you. It's
Mm-hmm.
like that's that's the love. That's love.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're
That's
all born
healing. And
creative. We're creative beings, and sorry. Yeah. I'm
that's
just
where
agreeing with
that's well, you're
yeah.
right. That's for me, that's where all creativity comes from.
Yeah.
So when I was doing those things and I was dancing and I was in these works, it was like I can be my multidimensional self.
Mm.
I could feel things on many levels,
Mm.
not just the regular senses. I could hear
Mm-hmm.
the music, but I was
Mm-hmm.
feeling the rhythms.
Mm.
And the little things that would stand out to me would
Mm.
be accent points in the movement. And like I felt like my entire sphere, like the vibrate. I didn't know what this was back then. I didn't name it, but I opened up to other levels of energy
Yes.
that's
You
around us,
expanded. Yes.
right? Just because you can't see it
Mm.
with our visible eye, our
Mm-hmm.
limited visible eye, we can see that much of a spectrum,
Mm.
right? There's a whole
Mm-hmm.
multidimensional universe that we have access to that we don't see.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't, a lot of it is like, well, if you don't see it, seeing is believing it.
Mm.
It's like, I feel like experiencing something helps you believe that something,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
experimenting
Yeah.
with things
Yes.
proves to yourself, builds your
Yeah.
confidence, and proves to yourself
Mm.
that like, okay, this is a truth for me
Mm.
that works for me because I
Mm.
proved it to myself.
Mm.
People can tell you this will work, that will work, this will work, but even like with Foster and Christos, all that work, what do?
Mm.
They show you
Mm-hmm.
the information. They
Mm-hmm.
help you learn how to embody it in your system
Mm-hmm.
through the path working and all of
Mm.
that. But you have to do the work,
Yeah.
and you have to experience and experiment and see how it opens up for you and how it opens you
Absolutely. Yeah.
and what works for you.
Yeah.
So I would say to anybody, doesn't have to be mystical, but we are mystical beings
Yes.
or divine
Yeah.
beings that have so many levels and layers that we just have to become aware of. So when
Yeah.
we do the things that we love and we go in nature and we do things that relax the mind, relax the ego, help us, even if it's a brief moment, like
Mm.
it's almost like you inhale. It's almost like
Mm.
there I am,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
There's like that other stuff is kind of starting to go away. And then you start to feel, sense, see those things that you didn't see before. You're tuning yourself.
Mm.
You're opening up. Well, this
Mm.
is what I don't. I'm going off on a rant,
No,
but
no, that makes
it's like the healing modality that I created
yes.
is called quantum unity intuitive energy therapy.
We're getting to that.
We will, but this is
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
This is like I think the crux of it.
Mm.
You have to open. You have to open this part. You're working with the other levels, the other chakras, the other levels, the matrix body, the emotional body, the etheric
Yes.
body, whatever you want
Yes.
to name all these
Yes.
bodies,
The astral body.
astral, like
Yeah.
whatever you've learned or named
Yeah.
these things.
Yes.
Um, they're layers.
Yes.
They're energetic layers.
Yes.
And where tuning into it, it's like your perspective creates your reality, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so if you're seeing only I'll just say the white light spectrum of,
Mm-hmm.
red, green, blue, blah, 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 indigo,
Mm-hmm.
the rainbow, you want to
Yes.
call it.
I nearly went into red
It's
and
still
orange.
one thing. We separate it, but it's one thing, but that's just a small piece. So
Smidgen.
we gotta open this and we gotta tune into the things that help us resonate with that.
Yes.
Like if you atomically, if you look at, they found the science. I like to bring science a little bit into it without
Yeah.
going really into it,
Mm-hmm.
the complicatedness of it.
Mm-hmm.
But an electron will appear where you perceive it will appear.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's like there's like a whole quantum thing. It's
Mm.
like, well, where is it really? Where is it really?
Mm.
So it's about expanding your mind. So don't limit your thoughts. Don't
Everything
limit
is possible.
yourself.
Yeah.
Everything,
Everything is
everything.
possible.
I
Yeah.
am I am proof of it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm still proving it.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I creating this whole new thing.
Yeah.
It's not that it's new to me. No, it's not new, but it's like this whole the creative process
Mm.
is dependent on how much you can sense and feel and perceive
Yes.
in the energies around you. That's why environment is so important.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
uh, and exactly as you were saying as well, just as you were just finishing talking there, I was just feeling it's really important to bring it back in about don't believe what you've heard, and sometimes don't even believe what your own thoughts either. And as you said, when you go into nature, when you really connect with yourself and feel your passion and feel what's right for you, that's when you feel everything is possible. That's why I created the 22 Days of Self-Love video series, because it's to get to know ourselves, And that's what inspired me to do this series on the art of healing, because I was day 9, I'm on day 17 today, because I took myself away to get to know myself again. And this is what massively inspired me. I was like, okay, so I've been through all these situations where I've had huge creative opportunities, but I've not gone there. And I don't want anyone else to have that, So thank you for your beautiful heart, and thank you for explaining that. I don't know why I've come back to this, but I just felt like we really needed to say that again. But it's that everything is possible, and like you said, all the dimensions are around us, and not everybody listening is going to understand, and that's no judgment, that's not being condescending or anything. It's just not in your spectrum yet, or you may not have any interest, but believe us, it's there.
It is,
Yeah.
and I say
Yeah.
to people, I would
Mm.
say, if people are just like, oh, this is a bunch of hooey,
Mm.
or they're not buying it, just be curious.
Yeah.
That's my big
Yeah.
word.
Love it. Yeah.
Always
Gorgeous.
try
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Prove, prove to yourself
Mm.
that it's hooey,
Mm. Yes. Yeah,
or prove
exactly.
that it isn't,
Yeah.
or just try it and see.
Yeah.
Like, we have like, mentors, right?
Yes.
I always go back to Foster or Krista
I was going to
because
say, Christos always
they're
says,
the most expansive teachers,
yeah, massively. Yeah.
and and
Because
they're
Christos
about
always says
expanding other people.
research. He always says research, doesn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Show me the receipts.
Mm. Yes. Yeah.
So when I do it, was doing sound healing,
Mm.
and you can get certified and certified in this. I know music, and I know frequencies, and I was researching and doing stuff, but my greatest research was working with people
Yeah.
and working with them and
Mm-hmm.
tuning into them
Mm-hmm.
and playing certain things in certain ways,
Mm-hmm.
and then getting the feedback of where it had an impact, where it opened, where, like, what whatever was going on with them, or how it had expanded their meditative practice, whatever the result was. And I kind of take notes. I'm like, okay. And doing that over and over again. You don't have to be the expert at something.
Just try it.
You can explore it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when you're ready, you might not even want to work. You might just do this for yourself. But while we're talking about empathic people,
yes,
I think that's one of the main missions of someone that has empathy, because we are meant to show others what they can't see, or help them feel what they haven't quite felt. Because once they feel it, they're like, oh yeah. You give somebody that intuitive advice or intuitive whatever, or the healing work, whatever it is, they knew it all along.
Completely. Yeah. We're just reminding them of what they've forgotten, or
But we have to remind ourselves too. And I think that's what working with Foster and Christos and the path working, it's continually reminding yourself of this unlimitedness and this oneness and there's we separate things so that our minds can understand the parts of something. I said that I did this in the last one too.
Yeah,
it's got to come back together.
Yeah, unity. Yeah.
Once you understand all of the parts. So that's the unity I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I call it like a sphere of consciousness, where it's unity. It's like you're in, if you have a sphere, let's just say the earth, right? Yes. It's solid, right? Funny, you're solid, because we know everything's energy, so nothing's really solid. It's like energetic membranes, I'll call them, versus solidity. It's like if you're on one side of the earth, I can only see so far. I have a limited perspective. But if you think of it as a hologram, and then you go to the middle of it, you can see in the sphere, you can see every perspective. So that love frequency, that heart opening, all the things to quiet the mind, quiet the ego,
visual at the
protectors. It's like wherever you look, you just have to tune to that frequency.
Completely.
And that frequency is the vibration. So people that are mediums, it's like, they do the meditative practices, they do the things, they raise their vibrations, things, they connect. It could be a visual thing. They journey, they bring in it, all different ways that they do it. And all we're doing is raising the vibration so that we can perceive the other level of existence. That's it. So the more, that's what I love about, I can be like an ad for Foster and Christos.
I know, so could I?
Or Christos and Foster, not of any importance the order that I say your names.
No, absolutely. I do that too.
And and it's been so transformative.
Yes.
Having the information and being allowed to see things from so many different truthful perspectives, and then proving it to myself. It's like it just keeps opening your consciousness.
And that's what's so incredible about them.
That's what it is.
Yeah, they show us. Sorry, excuse me. And I was just smiling.
You'll see what's going to heal you.
Yeah, completely. And just again, Christos and Foster, biggest fans here. The way that they teach and the way that they give us the experience and the learnings, and for me, and I imagine you feel the same, they see what's in us, but they allow us to work it out.
Yeah, and what's really another credo, Christos, is it's like what you put in, you get out.
Yeah, completely. Sorry, I've
got
so really funny tea gray. Sorry.
You have to devote yourself. The amount that you devote yourself to yourself, I'm going to say.
Yes.
And the things that will expand you and open you
Completely.
It's like that is like my thing keeps about falling out of my
It's
ear.
okay. I'm just laughing because of the shamanic element of my cat coming in about independence and mysticism. He's just walked in.
She's like,
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm here. Yeah, so they feel it. But they,
Yes.
you know, you it's like it's forget what I was saying, but you have to the amount of devotion you have to the practices that will open you, that will help heal you, that will give you insight, you know, talk to your guides and get that soul insight for
Mm,
yourself
mm,
that helps direct you is
mm.
going to, the amount you devote is the amount that your life is going to reflect
Absolutely.
the beautiful things that can come
Well, you said, the more you
from
put in, the
doing
more you
that.
get out. Yeah, absolutely. Because
Yeah, just,
yeah, yeah.
and it doesn't necessarily, the harder you work and the more struggle and no, that's not what I mean. I mean, the
We're
more you do,
human
okay.
beings. We're not human doings.
For example, I started yoga.
Yes.
Not that I started yoga. I went back into it
Yeah.
more deeply,
Yes.
less of a physical thing, and like I know about it. I know
Mm,
the backgrounds of, some of this and the spiritual side and all of that. But I decided I was going to devote myself to a practice because I felt like for me to do what I'm endeavoring to do and working, because now I'm working with people more. It's like I need my physicality needs to be able to support these energies so that I don't end up exhausting myself.
mm-hmm.
And and a beautiful thing happened. It was like I was going every day, you know, and I finally found this sovereign centered groundedness. So like I'm in it almost feels like, I know he built it inside like a temple room.
Mm,
So it already kind of has that,
beautiful.
but people, it sinks, you sync up, but even individual, it's like the room disappears.
Wow.
And it's like, I don't know, I just feel like I needed that.
Mm,
I, we say, oh, we have to ground, we have to ground, we have to ground. It's like, well, how do we ground? It's like, stick your feet in the dirt, like
exactly. Wrap yourself around a tree.
barefoot, walk barefoot,
Mm,
if you're in a city, it's like, put your feet in a flower pot. Like, I don't know, like get a
exactly.
grounding mat, get
Yeah.
grounding mats. Like 6 hours a day, you're supposed to ground yourself. But there's like an energetic grounding
Mm,
that happens. And I have not felt so in in my body and still able. This is what finally after 5 years, I understand what Foster's saying about how when you ground yourself, the more deeply you ground yourself, the higher you can go.
mm-hmm.
So you can expand into
Mm,
those other energies. We are here. We're in this density. We don't have to be only in this density,
yeah.
but we are, so it's important.
Mhm,
So I started doing more massage therapy. I understand how important it is for people. Like I'm a massage therapist.
mhm.
Like how it is to support a person's physicality, and I work on the energetic level as well.
Yeah.
So it's like the layers. It's
Yes.
like I like to work on all the layers from the emotional. It's like we're talking. These
Mm,
emotions that come out that are trapped
mm,
there's experiences there,
mm,
and it's like we need to talk about it, not for me to talk about it, but for the person to be able to explore
mhm.
those feelings in an environment where they can be curious, and so they're viewing it objectively,
And feel
especially if an
held.
old memory is a
Yeah.
trauma. I was working with
Yeah.
a beautiful soul, a woman
Mm,
who had um, a deep trauma from her past,
okay.
and she trusted me.
Mm.
She said, I want to work on this with you. And I'm like,
Mm.
are you sure? She goes, I no, I trust you.
Mm.
I trust you to work. And I was like, you trust yourself, really, because you're being signaled, to do this. So such a beautiful, it was, she was able to not experience the trauma,
Mm.
but the residual feelings. She was crying. We did this. I did, I went shamanic,
Yeah.
you know, I told Foster about this briefly,
Mm.
but that's why I do so many things.
Mm.
Now I understand,
Mm.
because whatever is in the person, all the information is in the person's energy field.
Mhm.
And I have to be in a certain frame, which is why I do so much inner work and grounding and all of that, so that I can tune into those things
Yeah.
and bring them out as a gift. Here, this is what your system is telling me. Here's an image, here's a thing, here's a
Mm.
this, here's a that, here's your grandmother that passed, here's whatever it is.
Mm.
But she really needed a soul retrieval and cord cutting.
Mhm.
I grabbed, I said, this is what I'm feeling called for. Are you up for this? Said it might be subtle, it might be more. Are you
Mm.
ready for this? And she
Mm.
was like, yes. And we did it, and it was just like this whole um release.
Sure.
release.
Mm.
And it's like we have to we she was watching it as an observer, and she was participating in pulling and cutting the, like, not like real cutting,
Yeah.
figurative,
Yes.
energetic
Yeah.
cutting
The
of
energetic
the
chords.
cords, and
Yeah.
sending her power animal to
Mm.
retrieve, you know
Mhm.
how it works. I won't go into the whole thing, but it was very
We'll do
liberating.
that on another episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You can talk to Foster about that. I told him, I was like, I was channeling your work. I thanked him. I said, I am so grateful that you showed me and you pulled me into some of your healings, and and um allowed me, because it allowed me to be there for her in that way that
Yeah.
was needed.
Beautiful.
That was it. It
I've had the
wasn't
blessing
about
as
me.
well with the workshops, with the immersive healing together of the, yeah, beautiful. And that's what I just felt. Maybe we should do another episode at some point and talk about the
Yeah.
beauty of that as well. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
gorgeous.
to me, it's all for healing.
Yeah.
It's like that example. Um, and it could be more subtle. It
Mm.
sometimes it depends. People need to sometimes shed things slowly, so that's how it presents,
Yes.
okay? Because that's what they can handle in the
Mm-hmm.
moment.
Yeah.
And it's like the healing. Um, it's it it's like a creative process. Like,
Yeah.
creativity is
Yeah.
healing. I want to come back to that, because that's what
Yeah,
we
it
were really
is.
talking
It
about.
really, really is.
It was so healing for me,
Mm.
you know, to be in a creative process.
Yeah.
Even when I was doing music, I didn't
Mm.
know. I mean, I was doing all this mystical work and stuff, and I was working with Foster and Christos and
Mm-hmm.
all the path working and stuff.
Mm.
And I was writing this album, and things happened in the studio that I don't know where it came from. Now
Mm.
I kind of understand
Yeah.
it. But the first song I knew all the lyrics. We intuitively created all of the music. It felt right. And then um, the producer, who's very open, you know, to a person's process and nurturing that.
Beautiful.
So
Of
I picked the right person.
course you did.
We weren't just banging it out kind of thing. It was a whole creative process.
You found each
And
other.
he allowed me to explore my own vision.
Mm.
And he goes, okay, so do you have melodies? What are you going to do? You're going to go, now the music is going, go in the studio. I was like, I don't know. I said, let's see what happens. He looked at me and he's like, okay. I sang this song. I had never sung in that style, never sang, like, I don't even, remember Christo said, you were possessed. In other words, you were channeling,
Yeah. Yeah.
channeling it. So
Just,
the creative process allows us that connection
mm-hmm.
that opens us up to the, I mean, I think it's, the inspiration. We think it's
Yeah.
coming from somewhere else.
And trusting our intuition
It's
as
really
well,
coming,
isn't it?
it's really
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
from our connection to
Yes.
everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's like a universal consciousness,
Yeah.
and we've tapped into it with our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So artists can be very
Mm-hmm.
emotional, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times it can be really heavy. And you're expressing those emotions that words can't, sometimes they just can't say it.
Yeah.
It comes out in the artwork. And
Yeah.
it's like, the artists that more deeply tune into the energies of those emotions and
Mm-hmm.
experiences that
Mm-hmm.
they've had, and it comes out, you can feel it. It's a
Absolutely.
vibration, it's a frequency.
Yes. Yeah.
Just like you can charge water.
Yeah.
It's, I believe they're charging their paint.
Yeah.
Like I want, at some point in my lifetime, I want to start really making like like talismans and metallic things. I'm going to start
Okay.
with candles,
Yeah.
but when I melt the candle, I'm going to, because it's in a different state,
Mm-hmm.
to charge it while it's in a liquid form, semi-liquid form,
Yeah. Wow.
and then test
Mm-hmm.
and see the vibrations, because I want to provide those kinds of, like, if people can't provide those frequencies themselves, it's like, what
Mm-hmm.
do you do? An energy healer, you create an energetic ball, right?
Yeah.
We were taught that.
Yeah.
You create this, and you send it to the person,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you can do that with anything. You charge anything. I think that's what a talisman is. You're charging it, and you have to recharge them. Where was I getting on this? So it's like you're charging your art
Yes.
with this soul energy,
Yes.
and all the things and emotions and
Yeah.
things that go around that.
Yeah.
It's very healing.
Yeah.
Like, it can be. It's cathartic. It's like art.
Yeah.
A lot of artists say, this is therapy.
Yes. Exactly. Don't need a therapist. I have my art. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
all it is expressing those things that
yes.
are held
Yes.
held down.
Yes. Completely. Yeah.
So you can do it in a healing session. You can do it in your art.
Because I completely agree with you. When we're looking at art, we're in galleries, and I think we were talking about this the other day, but I think just messaging, when someone says to you, what do you think about it? It's like, I don't think anything about it. I feel it, and I can't really express what I'm feeling. I'm just in front of this huge, again, it's not, you can't, like you said, you can't use words. You just immerse yourself into that sphere of their environment, and you feel it. You just feel everything.
And it's different for everyone.
Yeah,
So
exactly. No
so
judgment how anybody's, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
but what they feel will
Mm.
will, will be different, because
Yes,
because of who they are and their experiences,
exactly.
and when they look at that art, like, if you go somewhere with intention
Yes.
to be open to the vibration of what's
Yeah.
coming from the artwork,
Yeah.
then whatever it is that you need to see in it,
Mm.
so that you can reflect on how it makes you feel those emotions, because
Mm.
there's something in your system that needs that release,
Yes. Yeah.
or needs to remember that
Yeah.
emotion.
Yeah.
It could be a
Beautiful.
happy emotion. It doesn't have to be
Yeah,
everything so
exactly.
tragic, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Joy.
I had a hard life, but
Mm.
people have had it much harder, and and it felt like suffering more back then. But I'm still smiling.
Yeah.
I'm still
You're
here.
amazing. Yeah. You're
I'm not,
fabulous.
I did the work.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
the work on myself.
I mean, that was one of the other things, in terms of that we were talking about before. In terms of you have advice for people if they're feeling a bit stuck, it's finding a practice, because you mentioned the yoga, you mentioned the inner
Hmm.
work, but just baby steps, isn't it? Would you say
Yeah.
just start
And
with something? Sorry.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say one thing because it keeps coming through,
Okay,
like it keeps
say
coming through before I
it.
forget it. Um, you are the best job that you will ever have.
Mm. Wow. Yeah.
And wow, I'm like getting teared up. I don't know why. It was
Again,
just
yeah,
like,
I'm getting, well,
oh,
I'm
we
quite
got to
warm
say
anyway,
this.
but
It's the hot flashes. You know, Aline's in a
yeah.
very hot climate
No,
right
but I
now,
know, but
so
I know I felt that. I got very warm on my face when you said that. That's beautiful.
you are the
Yeah.
best job that you will ever have.
Yeah.
So, it's like you have to like because I was you have to do your work for you, and you can distract yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, don't make it don't make it your life a distraction. But sometimes I've done enough today.
Mm.
Like yesterday, I was like, I need to accomplish this. I was doing this. I was doing this. I created a graphic for a thing that I'm doing. It's like a event, and I'm doing this, and I got this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm like, I have so many other things to do. But wow, what a day.
Yeah.
These
Gorgeous.
are these are all for me.
Yeah.
This is all for me. Yeah, I love my job. That you should love yourself being your job.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you're not at the right job.
Go
You know what I
inside and
mean?
find out what it is. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
again, I'm being a little cheeky about it, but we put our, I mean, sometimes we have jobs because it's a necessity,
Yes.
right? And it may not be the best environment. You can make the most of it, but there will, if it's not, if that job needs to end, you're going to feel it. And I find it um less stressful to start realizing
Yeah.
the pangs about it and then start motivating yourself to do things that are going to lead you to the next thing
Yeah.
before you get to the point where I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And then you just
Mm.
sometimes you get to that moment. Sometimes you
Mm.
need that moment
Mm.
to realize. Sometimes you need clean breaks.
Yeah.
Um, but it doesn't always have to be an all or nothing thing.
No, and it doesn't have to be, like a sudden, I'm going to do this now, tower moment, everything doesn't have to fall apart. When you're listening and you're following that guidance gently, our vibrations start raising, and automatically things, they can gently go. And then if we don't excuse me, we don't acknowledge, and they don't, we're not allowing them to gently go, then there can be a bit of a crash, because the universe says,
Yeah.
okay, you're not doing this, it's really not helping you, and where your vibration is, it's not matching, that has to go. So it is, would you say it's pretty important to start listening to those intuitive feelings? And yeah.
I would say it's crucial.
Yeah,
I would say
I
it
said that
is
very
crucial to
lightly.
life. I know why you said it that way, but I'm just like, you hooked me in there, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
that's the way.
Mm.
As far as I'm
Completely.
concerned,
Yeah.
it's like it's crucial. It's just crucial for your own life, for your movement. You have to always move.
Massively.
You can't
Yeah.
be afraid to move out of something.
Mm.
When you're saying that, it might not be completely related, but
Probably is.
everything, you know, I appear as a very aligned, grounded, connected, like kind of person. And I do the work and I'm doing these things, but sometimes stuff happens.
Yeah, I hear you.
And and that's when this is the listening.
Yeah.
And to take a pause. There was a big flood here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida
Oh,
on April 12th, and my
okay.
car drowned. And
Right.
I was just like I need this right now. I'm really focusing on building the business and getting this and
Mm.
it's going someplace. And now it became a 2 month thing of dealing with insurance and
Yes. Yeah.
the car, the tow company that was supposed to take the car to a mile away to the shop where the owner was waiting there for it. And they were going to receive it, and we were on the phone and we were calling, and the tow company stole the car and commandeered it for 15 days and wanted $7,000 to
$7,000.
get it out. It was ransom. I
Massively.
got the
Wow.
police involved. I got the insurance involved. The insurance didn't want to pay for it. And I said, listen, you sent the tow company. This
Yeah.
is your
Yeah.
responsibility. I didn't send that crazy tow company.
Yeah.
If I got it myself, it would have been on me. And they ended up paying for it. It was like this whole
Good.
thing. Then it was at the shop for for like 25 days because the insurance was asking so many things of them and to pull the
Mm.
car apart and all this stuff. Finally, it all got resolved.
But isn't that interesting? Can I just what something that struck me
Go for it.
is how many people would have just accepted that from the insurance company saying, well, we're not going to pay for that. The fact that, you know,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
like, well, I don't have the money to pay for that. So, I told them, I said, what I would do would not have it sitting there.
Mm,
Okay. Pay
mm,
the ransom.
mm,
It's going to be way less.
mm.
Like I said, if I had the money, if I did it old school, like my grandfather from Sicily, okay, we would have drove down there. We would have drove 190, they took it 190 miles away. Would have drove 190 miles with the police and went there
Mm,
and said, gave them and get the car.
mm,
I said that, I told the insurance,
mm,
that's what you should be doing and that's what you should have done.
mm,
So do it.
mm,
What's the wait? You're
mm.
just making it worse for yourself. And yeah, like I wasn't taking any crap
Excellent.
from anybody, but
Yeah.
it was, oh my God, it was so hard. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm on my path. I'm doing like this. I got
Yeah.
this and
Yeah.
synchronicities and then it's like wham.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, okay, what's this?
Mm-hmm.
What's this less? Am I? Where am I? What am I not getting? What am I not
Mm,
aligned to?
mm.
Now, mind you, I asked for opportunities for enhancing my financial situation because
Yeah.
I'm starting a new business out of a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
It's been rough,
Yes.
but I still have a smile on my face
Yeah,
because
it's
I'm
still
just like, hell
smiling.
no, I'm
Yeah.
a survivor. So
But you're in a supportive environment now, and that's crucial, to use your word. That's crucial.
yes,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really necessarily have to do with other people because because I, you know, I am I have created my own
Yeah.
supportive
Yeah.
thing and I get like fears about oh my God, but then I'm just like it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So anyway, I was like, okay, so how am I drowning myself out? As I said, the car drowning.
Mm. Yes.
How am I I'm being shown that what like I was creating different like the workshops and how I was going to do it and
Mm-hmm.
formulate and I wanted and just building all of these
Mm-hmm.
things because um I want it to be what it's supposed to be for people.
Mm.
I'm devoted to my work.
Yeah.
So
You are your
I
work. Yeah.
yes, but I
Yeah.
asked for all these opportunities and I have my
Yeah.
magical practices and things
Yes.
like that and you know maybe I shouldn't have. No, no. Be careful what you ask for, because
Yes. That's one of the things
Saga.
Crystal says, make sure you want what you're asking for.
Yeah,
Make sure you're ready for it.
like
Yeah.
just when you think you've cleared all this karma, and it's like you're on the next step in the higher
A
energy, and you're doing all this. It's
few
just
more
like
layers of the onion.
you forgot about something, and it has to
Mm-hmm.
do with this financial thing, and it has to
Mm-hmm.
do with your past, and it has to do
Mm-hmm.
with this the remnants. So it's not like this crazy thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it was remnants. It's
Yes.
just like you're not done yet.
Yeah.
Okay, because where you're going is going to need you to work on these little things.
Yes.
So anyway, it's like I just wanted to point out that the shit
Yeah. Well, we're all
sometimes
human.
hits the fan
Yeah.
even when you're
Yeah.
totally on path and
Yeah.
you're doing that, but you maybe not totally on path. but very close to it, I had to rethink everything and shift my direction. That all
Reframe.
happened when I
Yeah.
was filming podcasts, the podcast that I'm doing,
Yeah.
and all of that, and it
I forgot
screeching
to
halt.
mention that podcasts. I'll put that in the information as well.
Yeah, well, don't yet because it's not coming out yet,
Okay.
you know. But it's getting there. I had to refocus. I
Okay.
had to refocus on the thing. So that's what it showed me. There was a rhyme and reason for it.
Mhm.
And it really helped me. It was crap for 2 months, but the brilliant. I what do you say? Um, I stuck with it.
Yeah.
You know, I you know there was one point where I just said there are no good people in this world.
You said there are
And
no
then
good people in this world.
yes, which
Okay.
obviously I don't believe that.
No.
But in those moments, because I was coming up
Yeah.
against all these
Mm-hmm.
obstacles of
Mm-hmm.
people being really shitty about the situation and not doing what they really should be doing with
Mm-hmm.
the insurance and the things and the stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then I woke up. I said, tell me, like, I know this isn't true, but like, I'm just gonna go to sleep and see what I wake up with, right?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't even I was like I need to go to sleep. I can't even be
Mm-hmm.
awake
Mm-hmm.
with this anymore.
Sleep's the best healer.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And I woke up and I said, there are good people. There are many good people in this world. Don't let all of this make you believe that. Not that I would, but don't make all
No.
of this make you believe that even in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
you're just not talking to them.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
So I called. So right after that, the shop that called me, because they were refusing to pay the shop for
Nice.
having it stored there, even though they
Okay.
caused it to be stored there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh no. The shop
Mm.
called me and said, your insurance company just paid for another car, your same brand, same situation, same thing. It was here for the same amount of days and they paid in full. So I called my broker, and my broker happened to be on the phone with the insurance company, a different person from the insurance company,
Mm-hmm.
and I gave them the information
Mm.
because then I can
Mm.
report them to the insurance commission for unfair
Absolutely.
practice, which is
Yeah.
what they said to me. If we make an exception for you, then it would be unfair practice to not do it for
When
other
they'd already
people.
done it previously. Wow. Yeah.
And then I find out
Mm.
right after they said that to
They've already
me
made that
that
exception.
they already did that,
Yeah.
and so that's how I got the whole thing.
Excellent.
But
Mm.
I got I got a down payment
The
amount
truth
back.
will out. Brilliant.
I didn't have to change all four tires. I was going to have to change them. That would have been like 2,000 US dollars. The rims, I would have had to change the rims too. That's another. It was like this crazy amount of money. And now my car payment, it's the same exact car, but the car payment is less.
Is less.
And I'm like, did I really have to go through that hell?
Well, maybe also as well, you don't know what might have happened with the car, and it had little things that needed to be looked at. So that whole hell might have been actually because the
I
car
felt
really
it.
need, yeah.
Yeah, I felt it. And I knew that this was I don't ignore my intuition, but I was just like, I have a feeling that the right rear axle, there's something going on there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nothing ever happened, but I was just like, I'm gonna
Mm,
keep an eye on that. So for whatever reason,
mm,
like, these horrible experiences,
yes. Yeah.
they bear meaning and they suck. They really do. But we
Yeah,
refocus.
completely. I mean, one of the things that happened to me round about the same time that was happening with you, I thought I was going to one place and I was very excited. It's like my shadow, if you like, my shadow is escapism. And I was feeling I'm going to go away to this place for 5 weeks. It's going to be incredible. I'm going to get so much done. I've got loads of inner work. I'll be in nature. I'll be wonderful, surrounded by like-minded people. So without going into all the details, because let's just say it wasn't a place for me. I understood that I was going somewhere I was really excited because they were vegetarian. I was told, look, don't worry, they can make you vegan food, it won't be a problem. And it was very, very different. And the energy of this place, I had said, because I was going to be in an environment that I was feeling I was going to be in a beautiful practice every day. I was going to be, surrounded by supportive environments. That I kind of said, okay, I'll stay in a room. All right, that's fine, because I'm going to be going out and about. I'm going to be with people, talking to lots of different people. And what I actually had to do was leave. That was my lesson. I had to leave. Instead of going into savior mode and telling all these people, actually, you're being conned and you're being brainwashed to this situation, because I was feeling everything, as we do, feeling absolutely everything. I just had to go. That's what I had to do. And it all worked out really well. One of the ladies there were some very beautiful people there, but unfortunately, they were being lied to. That's the only way I can put it. They were being lied to. And there was this whole, savior mode in me, and it's the huge, you only help people if you're asked. There was so much of a part of me had to really rein myself in and not go and speak to lots of people who thought they were in really important positions, to tell them, actually, you're being taken advantage of and you're being lied to. So that was huge.
If you were meant to do that, someone might have spoken to you and said, why are you leaving? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So it's their process too. But go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I
No, that's okay. But no, completely. Because, but when the kind of head honcho asked me why I was leaving, I didn't say why. I just said, yeah. Actually, no, she didn't ask why I was leaving. They didn't ask. They knew. They already knew, because the welcoming committee I had when I arrived, one of the ladies held my hand and said, we're so lucky to have you here. So, oh my
Oh
goodness.
boy. You don't even know me.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you don't even know me. Let me take you to the practice room. And I was in this room just and looking around, just thinking, no. But it took a few days for me to, because I was saying to myself, come on, Aline, this situation is wonderful. You've manifested to be in this fabulous place. And there's that. And to the point, it was so funny. I watched, anyway, it doesn't matter because it's not promoting anything, but I watched a film, and you know what it was called? Get
But
Out.
oh yes, I know that one.
And so the next morning I woke up, bolt upright, I was like, I'm going, I have to go. And then from then I had the most beautiful journey. I went to Toledo, and it was actually all around it's a really important time and I can't remember. But anyway, no, it was Easter, wasn't it? It was Easter. No, I was away in Easter. Anyway, I don't know. There was something really specific and I can't think what it was. You'll probably know. Anyway, so what happens, I ended up doing, it's almost like past life journeys. I went to a place where there was information all about witchcraft, and then there was information all about the Spanish Inquisition. And I ended up kind of driving through. It was like a real, with Lilith, it was a real kind of opening of, don't hurt anybody, but don't take any crap. It was really one of those. And that's what I really feel was happening with you as well. Because when you said that insurance company, no, I'm not paying it, you are. It's that, it's sometimes as empaths, I'm going off on a rant now, sorry. But
No,
sometimes
it's okay.
as empaths, we go, oh no, that's okay. Oh no, that's all right. So the other person feels better, to our detriment. But I kind of feel that was given to you not just because of the car situation, but for you to really stand up for yourself as well. In the same way,
Absolutely.
yeah, in the same
And it
way
was
that,
financial.
yes, exactly. Yeah,
And this is the
yeah,
last piece of my transformation
yes,
out of a dependency
yeah,
on spouse
yes, yes,
and being on my own again, because I always was independent.
yeah, yeah.
And it is like all these lessons are around this. So
Mm,
so I'm like, I'm listening. You trusted yourself. So I would say to people, always trust yourself. It doesn't, if you're just like, I don't think something's not right here. Even if you can't put your finger on it,
Listen to it. Yeah, exactly.
just
Yeah,
listen to it.
yeah, yeah, completely.
Just listen to it.
Completely. It's funny actually because I did a Facebook Live the following day when I left about it, just saying, if something doesn't feel quite right in your body, because I got really ill. That's why I that was my kind of excuse, if you like. But I got really ill because the environment there was black mold.
Oh, wow.
So that
That should
was,
tell you something.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So yes, absolutely. Listen, just listen. So will you please tell us about, can you please give the name again of your healing process? Do you want to talk about that or
Oh, you mean, like the energy healing
yeah,
modality? Yes. Sure, why not?
that was a seamless link, not, but yeah. But it's all
No,
healing
it's
process and yeah, so could you explain to us what
well,
it
that's
is?
part of the process. What
Yeah,
you did was part of the process.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And, sometimes I made a mistake. What is
Mm.
a mistake? It's an opportunity to redirect,
To learn and grow, yeah,
you know,
completely. Yeah,
that's it
yeah,
in some way.
yeah, I like
And,
that.
and, you know, dare I say, be grateful for those things.
Yes, yeah,
Um, Maybe once you're on the other end of them, you could be more grateful.
yeah.
But,
Hindsight.
but looking at them from a different perspective.
Yeah.
So in the healing, it's about looking at yourself
Yeah.
from your higher self perspective, seeing yourself as pure divinity, you're pure light. You know, it's like, or it's like, okay, it's like shifting from, you were saying shadows. It's like
Mm.
shifting from shadows. If people don't know what shadows are,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like
Mhm.
shifting from the traumas, the
Yeah.
baggage that
Yeah.
the
The
bag that
learned
the things
programming.
that happen, the
Yeah.
programming
Yeah.
that informs your life and your
Mm.
perspective on life.
Mm. Yeah.
If people keep, like, this happens, if someone keeps hurting you, or someone keeps cheating on you, or someone keeps saying these same things to you,
Mm.
different people,
Mm.
you learn,
Mm.
oh, even if it's subconscious,
Mm.
you learn, like, people want to hurt me, right? So
Yeah.
then what happens? The heart
You,
closes.
yeah. And you
The
attract that.
protector,
Yeah.
it's a protector.
Yeah.
So which is important.
Yeah.
But just like, if you have a spasm in your back because
Mm.
you tweaked a nerve and your
Mm.
body's trying to
Mm.
protect your spine, your
Mm-hmm.
spinal cord and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
there's a point that the immediate danger is over, but it's not releasing.
Mm.
So it's like we can't hold on to that.
Mm-hmm.
We can't hold on to
Mm.
all the experiences that we've had that have programmed us emotionally to shut down,
Yeah.
because we're protecting ourselves.
Yeah.
And I did a thing. um it's like a paradox to me. It seems like a paradox. It's like, in order for you to truly feel and be open and to connect and align and do all of the things, all the inner work, is this opening of this heart sphere, this
Yeah.
sphere.
Absolutely.
And I'm focusing on the heart. There's
Yeah.
other aspects,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
focusing on the heart because it's the beacon. It's the connection. It's like all the lower energies and all the higher energies, where do they go? The crossroad. What's There's one way to do the sign of the cross. Here's the other way, the
Yeah. Yeah.
Kabbalistic way to do it.
Coalesced across. Yeah.
Crosses, it's
Yeah.
Celtic crosses. This is like
Yeah.
like there's a mystical meaning to it that's not religious.
Yeah. Completely.
you know.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think of everything as energy and quantum in
Yeah.
a quantum way. So there's it's like you have to open your heart in order for you to perceive and hear your soul more of
Mm.
what you're supposed to be doing, so you can align yourself and do the things you need to do and learn
Mm.
the lessons and stuff like that. So all these experiences, it's like, whew. So now we're kind of closed, right? And on some and it's a pulsation. It'll open, close, depending on, oh, I met someone that's really open and nice and a nurturing soul, and we're having great conversation, and it's like, you know, and it opens, but then, so it's not just either open or closed.
Mm.
So what I decided
Like
to
an
do,
accordion.
yes, and what I decided to do, what would happen if I just kept my heart open, no matter what happens?
Beautiful. Mm.
And what I found was I didn't get hurt. Why? Because all of any negative information, you want to call it, or
Yeah, that's what you
information that's
attracted.
shooting at you on an energy wave,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this negative information environment
Mm.
coming at you,
Mm.
what that energy will do, that divine love, that heart energy, whatever you want to call it,
Mm.
transmutes it,
Mm-hmm.
dissolves it, and has it wash
Yeah.
around you. It doesn't get in your field. So
Yeah.
you're talking about an empath.
Mm.
It's like, and I always bring, why do I always bring Foster and Christos into this? But he said something very poignant, Christos, that our goal is not to be empathic, it's to be sympathic,
Mm-hmm.
to have sympathy
Mm-hmm.
versus empathy, so that
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how he described it,
Mm-hmm.
or exactly, but it was that very simple. I see that as as um yes, we can tune into
We
someone's
don't
thing,
take
but
it
we
on.
don't make it our own.
Yeah.
It's not. So
Yeah.
that expansion that
Mm.
happens here from doing the
Mm.
things you love,
Mm.
progressing in life,
Mm.
releasing things that are trapped in your energy bodies and your
Mm-hmm.
physical body. By doing that, it's like that you can endeavor to open your own field again.
Mm.
And that stuff, then you can become an observer. So it brings you, it's not like the heart, I see the heart energy is like a fourth dimensional
Yeah.
portal.
Yes.
Portal.
Yes.
There's timelessness. That's
Yeah.
the sphere I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We do meditation stuff, and it's like you open the sphere. You're really opening all the spheres,
Mm.
and that's creates the whole hologram of all the bodies and the
Mm.
spheres. But not to get technical, try to keep it less technical. You know, that opening brings you into this timeless thing where you can see things from different perspectives because they're not shutting you down,
And you can see from
because they're not
people's the
affecting
other
you.
other yeah other point of view as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in this healing modality, I,
Mm.
at the same time that I'm actually channeling energies, and
Mm.
and I'll talk about those and
Mm.
what those are, and using sound vibration and things to
Yeah.
like shake things out a little bit, or shamanic thing, like I said before.
Mm-hmm.
It's all meant to open consciousness. You're opening up to divine consciousness. You're
Mm.
not separate from it. It's like the oneness, like I can't say this, I don't know how to, it took me a while to
Mm.
like embody the meaning of it and have it make sense for me from an experiential level.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I can't stress enough. It's like we are everything that exists.
Yes.
We are.
I felt
They say
that.
your
Yeah.
your soul is a fractal of
Mm.
divine being, consciousness, intelligence, whatever you call
A
it,
little
God,
piece of
whatever,
stardust.
God, goddess,
Yeah.
divine, masculine, feminine, all in
Mm-hmm.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're calling it, it's like the whole quantum thing again.
Yeah.
That piece, your fractal, your soul is just a differentiation, but you have everything that's in the divine intelligence, divine consciousness,
Infinite
divine love, whatever you want to
possibilities.
call
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and you can tap into it. And
Yes.
it just takes it's the best job ever you'll ever have. I just
Yeah.
want to say that again to people. It's the best job you'll ever have.
Yeah.
Think of it. It's like it's exhilarating. There's highs and lows, and and crap, but there's such incredible things, and you can't forget that. And what all this stuff does and gets in us makes us blind to
Mm,
what truly
mm,
is, like the beauty of what
mm,
truly is, and what
mm,
in our power. We lose our
mm,
power.
mm.
So this modality is meant to help empower
Fabulous.
people. I don't
Yeah.
want people to come to me 100 times for the same
Mm,
thing. Like then what am I here for? Like that's dumb,
mm.
you know? And I'm not
Yeah.
saying people are dumb or I'm dumb. I'm just saying it's like it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense that, yeah,
You,
absolutely.
you
It's for
you have to
empowerment. Yeah.
you have to empower yourself, and people are stuck sometimes. So, or quite often, I
Mm,
was, and it's like it helps once I help start facilitating
mhm.
getting these things out and into the person's consciousness so that they can sense and release and see it from different perspective, then they just they vibrate a little bit more,
Mm,
and they become a little more conscious. And now if you go back into that same environment and let it
mm.
affect you the same way, then it can do the opposite. You know, you have to remove the stimulus.
Yeah.
That's what I meant by, lose the luggage,
Yeah.
get get rid of, like, change your environment. I'm like,
Yes.
get rid of people. No, I'm not advocating you getting rid of people physically. No. No, just like you did, get out.
Yeah, get
The
out.
movie you said, you
Yeah.
went there, it wasn't an environment for you, you recognized it, and you got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
And that opened you up, what? To a beautiful adventure, right?
Yes.
A beautiful adventure. So that's all I'm asking people to do
Completely.
by doing this work. And why it's the best work is you, because you get to let go of that stuff. And maybe you'll remember that story, but it won't feel like yours anymore, which I
No.
mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I can tell these stories about these awful things and terrible things, but they all were part of my path, and
Yes.
part of my being able to understand on such a deep level how much the negative things, or the ignorance,
Mm-hmm.
people, the not knowing, I won't call it
Mm.
ignorance because that means a lot to, in another way, but the not knowing any other way, limitation, right? From
Forgetting
parents,
what
from
we
this, that,
already
and the other
know.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it has such a deep impact.
Mm. Mm.
So I understand that because I went through it. And if I
Yeah.
had not gone through that, the horrors, I'll call
Yeah.
them horrors, you know,
Still smiling.
because we need to.
Mm.
We need to be loving and compassionate to others.
Completely.
I
Because,
mean, I was born that way. They tried to
yeah.
take me down, but I
Yeah.
never let them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that happens. It's like they can't connect to this love, this open, this, because of
Yeah.
all the things that we're
Yeah.
talking about. So when someone is really open, and someone you're and vibrating like that, there's a light, and it's an energy source,
Mm-hmm.
and people are drawn to it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
some people will just take it, steal it. Some people don't even
Mm-hmm.
know they're taking it, stealing it.
Mm-hmm.
But then some people will transform themselves with it.
Yeah.
And those are the people that that don't have a negative impact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
And so empowering someone else, you're not like, I'm not giving over my energy. Helping someone empower themselves, it's like you're empowering someone.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
it's so beautiful to
Yeah.
win. I'm just like I'm rooting for people. Like
Yes.
it's the
Yeah.
craziest. I'm like people's cheerleader.
Yeah. I would say
I'm
I'm not
like
your
I'm
healer.
like
I'm here to
I'm not.
wake up the healing qualities inside of you that you've forgotten. It's, that's, yeah. Yeah, gorgeous.
I'm not. I'm just somebody that figured out how to clear some. Sure. Are we allowed to curse on this thing?
Yeah, curse away, it's fine.
We need to clear out the shit, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if we don't, whose fault is that?
Yeah.
People do crappy things to us and how we process it, like I was talking about the difference between me and my brother, how we process it is going to determine your health.
Yes.
It's going to determine how far you get on your journey.
Yes,
Or how
completely.
difficult your journey is, or how how challenging it is. And it's like you have the power to reverse it.
Mm.
Right? You just have to, you can't hold on to these things.
Mm.
And it's detrimental. So that's the beauty of this is why I do this.
Yes.
This is why I facilitate people's ability to heal themselves. That's what I like. I'm an energy healer. I say that because,
Yes.
because it tells people
It's
what's going to
known.
happen,
Yes, it's
what's
known,
going to
it's
happen,
understood. Yeah. Yeah.
what the purpose is.
Yes.
I work with energy for the act of healing.
Yes. Beautiful.
That's it. I
Yeah.
facilitate. So if I'm going to talk a little bit about just the different multi-layers of this modality and why it's
Yeah.
different, like I do polarity energy therapy.
Mm-hmm.
It works with the elements. It works with the currents in the body, the energetic currents in the body. There's spirals, there's things, there's patterns, there's pentagrams, there's
Mm-hmm.
sacred geometry,
Yes.
okay, all around your body so that you're moving the energy. If you work with fire, you do the fire star or something. They call it a star. They don't call it a pentagram because some people get about that. It's just a shape that
It's-
represents the five elements. That's it. It's empowering. People did
Mhm.
things
Yeah.
that and used those symbols and did terrible
Mm-hmm.
things,
Yes.
and that's on them. But that's not
Yeah.
what the symbol is for.
No.
So just
Yeah.
in case, that's a disclaimer. That's the five-pointed star. Like people call it a star. Jesus,
Mm. Hello.
I don't know if Jesus called it a star, but anyway, um, now I'm just being
Just
silly. Just being silly. We're so serious. I needed to be silly.
so serious. We're
I
having
wasn't
very,
trying to be
very
silly.
serious this time.
But and then there's Reiki. You're using symbols, sacred
Yeah.
symbols, and there's a energy and pattern to symbols.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so let's get to that. Let's get to it.
I'm gonna
Sound
make
is
me
a
giggle.
vibration. The
Okay.
sound of my voice, I've been told,
Mm-hmm.
shifts and changes.
Yes.
Um, and a person has a certain experience
Mm-hmm.
when that happens. I'm
Yes.
not I'm not necessarily aware that it's happening,
Okay.
but when they reflect it back, I understand that it's happening. And now I've gotten now it's just kind of in the background, like, oh, that it's just something that happens, right? But it's a vibration and it's at a certain frequency. And at some point I'm going to test the frequencies of
Yes.
this. I'm in the process of doing my little experiments.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because to see what I'm saying and how I'm saying it, there's intention. The intention is the energy that's on that frequency that's now entering somebody's field in a certain way that has a certain impact.
And it's
So
love.
when people
Yeah.
are angry, when it's
Mm-hmm.
love, yeah, and compassion and acceptance, then that's the healer.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
You know, the love, the compassion, and acceptance that
And
I'm
self-forgiveness.
channeling.
Yeah.
I'm channeling because
Mm-hmm.
I forgive myself
Mm.
for the things that you know, some of the crappy things that I may have done, that I have done. I'll just say it, I may have done. Nobody knows about them. No, I'm just kidding. No, we all have mistakes and things and errors
How
and
we
judgment
learn. Exactly.
and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, in the process, someone may have taken on the energy of my mistake,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So so the healer of that are those higher vibrational frequencies of love and compassion. And
I see you
so
levitating at the moment.
so I'm bringing that in. That's what I
Mm.
call the diamond light. People call
Mm.
diamond light different things. There's a diamond grid and there's, you know, all this stuff.
Mhm.
And I just I know about all of that and I may explain it when I get technical with it, like in a
Mhm.
manual or something. But basically, it's the vibration of love.
Mm.
That's the heart portal. That's the thing. That's what opens us. That's why you have to bring that love to yourself. They say you have to love yourself,
Mm.
you know. And how do we do that? By removing from all the different layers those vibrations of experiences that are trapped there, and experiencing the good ones that are still flowing through us too. But
And
it's like
allow
you're
them.
getting,
Yeah.
yeah, you're cleaning house.
Yeah.
So I will do this. There's things that do this to do it, like I said, on the physical level, but there's also on the emotional level.
Mm.
So, I'm gonna be doing these. I decided. I was helped with my guidance to decide
Yes.
to refocus
Hmm.
and do a series of three mini workshops that work on some of
Fabulous.
these
Okay.
multidimensional layers so
Hmm.
that people can understand. I can't say it here, but like more like in depth, on
Yes.
in a more in-depth way, understand the process of the work so they can, very inexpensive, but it's like they can experience it.
Mm.
I'm all about the
Mm.
experience.
Mm.
Like who's Roberto? It's like you need to experience whatever it is that I'm doing
Mm.
with you
Mm.
in order to understand how it works and how it affects
Yeah.
you, and if it's of value to you or not. You know, it's all about proof. That's the ultimate receipt.
So, yes. So, are these workshops available at the moment, are they, for people to get in touch with you? Or,
I'm about to release them.
okay, watch this
I'm about to
space.
release them.
Okay.
One is, okay, working on the, the emotional, I won't call it a body, but the emotional level.
Yeah.
So there's emotion, vibration, frequencies running through us, things that are trapped. So when working on an energetic level, it's like I might go to a certain frequency, certain level. The
Hmm.
emotional level tends to be closer to the body, and things will come up. So I'll reflect back the emotion. When I was here at your thing, I might even not even reflect it back yet, but say, what are you feeling when I'm here? Or the
Mm.
person might just say it.
Mm.
When you're at my leg, I'm feeling some like this here, and then we can explore that
Mm.
and what it is. But I might say, there's a feeling,
Mm.
and I might get an image, and it might remind them of an experience because the information is there.
Yeah.
I'm just tuning. I'm listening. I'm listening. That's
Mm.
it.
Mm.
I'm tuning in and listening to my guidance.
But also listening to what other people are allowing you to hear. So,
Yes, and listening
yeah.
to what they're saying and
Yeah.
the intention, the vibration, and the
Yeah.
emotion that's behind it.
Yeah.
So I'll reflect something.
Mm.
We call it reflective listening.
Hmm.
I reflect whatever it is, whatever that information, because the need is there.
Yeah.
That's why it allowed me to see it, hear it, feel it, whatever,
Hmm.
however it comes. And then I offer it.
What
And I
else?
say, when I was here, I got this image of, or I
Mm.
felt such and such, this feeling. Are you feeling in some way? Are you feeling this way? Or they usually the person just starts, feeding back
Yeah.
with an experience.
And that's
And
creation.
then,
We're talking about creativity. That's creation, isn't it? That creating that beautiful moment. Yeah,
yeah,
gorgeous.
it's
Yeah.
creating a sphere. This
Yeah.
is why everything to me is this sphere of
Yeah.
energy. I'm creating a space that's at
Hmm.
a different vibration. It's at a compassion, heart, I call it heart centered, like
Mm.
compassionate love. It sounds kooky, but like vibration.
It doesn't sound the reason I'm
To some, it
smiling.
might. To
Yeah.
some, it might.
Yeah.
It's just like, but it's not, because once
It's
you know
not.
what I'm saying, you know what I'm talking about. Even you naysayers, but like
Yeah. You feel it.
you felt it once in your life, and
Yeah.
it may have just been a brief moment, but like you felt
Yeah.
it. But anyway, so it's this
Yeah.
sphere. It's eureka. It's
Hmm.
like that moment of knowing,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. So you create the sphere. It's a place that love there is. It's the creation is there. So that person is able to create the connection between
Hmm.
me and them in this sphere,
Hmm.
and they can observe it. So I track emotion, track their experience, and keep them on this form of realization and self-expression
Mm-hmm.
about the emotion here.
Mm-hmm.
And then that allows it to release in a
Gorgeous.
way that's not traumatizing.
No, gorgeous. Gentle,
It's not.
gently does it. Gently goes.
Yeah. And
Beautiful.
some people are ready to be shook up,
Yeah.
like I love a good healing, you know, where I'm like
Elvis is in the
shaking and
building.
like, I had one of those with Foster. I'm just, are you okay? I couldn't even, I felt drunk. Like I was like, had to get my bearings. I was like out of body, I guess, or
Yeah.
had to come back to myself.
When they say,
And
oh,
I'm just
wear
I'm like, that
comfortable,
was
loose,
amazing.
yeah, wear loose, comfortable clothing that you don't mind getting ripped. Really? Oh, okay.
I know, I learned that the hard way. I told her that. I was like, listen, I'm not going to tear your clothes, I promise. But like, so, okay, to explain to people that don't know what
Sorry.
we're talking, we're not tearing
Yeah.
people's clothes
No,
off.
we're
It's just where it's an expression of releasing the energy. So the
yeah,
person grabs you, you
yeah,
grabbing their clothing, and it's an expression of you're both like you're,
yeah,
releasing this. Sometimes it's a tug.
yeah,
Sometimes you'll get a little tear. So anyway,
exactly. And sometimes it's a little brush, but I mean that's extreme
yeah,
what we're talking about.
yes, but that's not all.
No, no,
That's not, that's just one little aspect.
exactly. Yeah.
If that kind of healing
Mm,
is the need,
mm. It will
and
be
I
there.
always ask
Yeah,
permission.
yeah,
You always ask
absolutely.
permission and track somebody's contact
Mm-hmm.
limit,
Mm,
because sometimes they'll be really in that space and that energy,
mm,
and it's like, okay, so where are you here with this? Can you do more? Can you none? And they're
mm,
like, I think this was beautiful, but
mm.
this is all for now.
Yeah, this is
And then
yeah,
you close the experience, because
yeah,
you got to respect that.
absolutely. Yeah.
You really do. And then they process. Like, people say, how often should you come if like something is not, it takes more time to release something. Some things
Hmm.
are instantaneous. Um, you need, at least, I feel you need at least a week to process.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of work you do. I give homework. A lot of work you do when you come home, when you go home, which is about being more aware of your environment and what you
Yeah,
let
being
in, and
mindful. Yeah, massively.
and how you take on
Yes.
the information, or you don't take it on. So
Yeah.
there's a whole thing. It's intuitive development. This is what the workshop
Beautiful.
is.
Yeah, gorgeous.
It's for self, and if you end up wanting to,
Hmm.
it's a very therapeutic healing experience, because I would do it in a group,
Yeah.
and we're all. It starts out as fun, because you're
Is it
intuiting, like, if
is it
well,
online or is it in
it
person?
will be online.
Okay,
I will do
perfect.
in-person things here for
Yeah.
local
Yeah, of
people,
course. Yeah.
but I wanted to offer something,
Mm.
you know, online
Gorgeous.
as
Yeah.
well, because we do
Yes.
that and it
Yeah.
works, because
Yeah.
there's no time and space differential.
Absolutely.
I the whole time I talk to you, like, frequencies are, it's like,
Yeah.
you know how much I love you,
I love you.
you know, but okay,
We'll be
so the
here all
one,
night.
I know. So let me get to the nitty gritty of what it is.
I'm quite
So we
happy.
so we work on a mental level, we work
Mm.
on a spiritual level, we work on all the different levels. So these workshops, the series, is going to address these levels, and
Oh, I
help
just
you
got
address
really
them for
emotional.
yourselves.
Oh, felt that. Yeah. Mm.
So the true meaning of holistic, right?
Yeah.
Multi-layered. We're
Sorry, I've just gone
multi-layered.
really. Ooh.
That's
Yeah.
okay. I'll hold the fort. Just keep
No, really like, oh,
working,
really
like, all those
beautiful,
layers.
gorgeous emotion of love. That's beautiful. Really
Oh,
beautiful.
thank you. I didn't even know I was doing it.
Yeah, really gorgeous.
So one is intuitive development, and this heart-centered communication
Mm,
that allows you soften the ego, which is the protector.
mm.
It's other things, but it's like the protector.
Yes.
If you're not taking care of yourself, your ego is going to have a tantrum and make you,
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
So I think that's what anger is, because there's I think
Inner
there's
child
anger,
asking for
and then
attention.
there's sacred
Yeah.
fire,
Yeah.
which
Nice.
is,
Yeah.
difference between like anger, revenge, and justice.
Mm,
It's like you have to put boundaries, and sometimes if
mm,
someone's like attacking you, whether physically, emotionally, in whatever ways,
mm,
it's like you have a sacred right to defend yourself
mm-hmm.
energetically too, and
Mm-hmm.
physically if it comes to that. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, but to me, that's not anger. That's just like it's like a sacred authority
Yes. Yeah.
way
Sovereign
of
authority. Yeah.
protecting yourself, and it's
Mm.
different. To me, it's different than the ego way of protecting. It's really a heart way of protecting. I had just as an example, I'll get back to it, an an ex an ex lover, an
Yes.
ex partner,
Yes.
not the most recent one, so
Okay.
this is a long time ago, attacked me and tried to stab me.
What?
Lost his freaking mind for a moment.
Oh my God.
I didn't see it coming, but I had trained as a martial arts, mixed martial arts, like kickboxing. I
Wow.
trained for 2 years back then when I was like 21.
Everything for a reason.
And I was just like, yeah, it's good because I was mugged when I was 16 and I couldn't really
Okay.
defend myself
Mm.
properly. I got out of it with my wits, but like, I was like, that's when
Wow.
I started working out. And then
Mm.
later on, I was like, I should be able to defend myself because people attack empaths for some reason.
Yes.
So just saying. So this happened, and I was able. I wasn't angry. This is my point. I wasn't angry. There was love there. I was just like, but I have to stop this in a split second. I
Mm.
disarmed him and right, like right
Wow.
in the right spot,
Yeah.
and he fell to the ground and just looked
Wow.
up at me. And the words out of my mouth were, "Why did you make me have to do that?"
Mm.
And then I walked away and I left.
Mm.
I come back and come back. But
No,
like,
good grief.
but like that's an extreme example, but that's what I mean by sacred authority
Yeah.
to protect yourself.
Hmm.
So energetically, you have that sacred authority too, but it's not
Yeah.
an ego thing. So it's like you quiet the ego and let your higher self handle it.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that's the observer that I'm talking about.
Mm.
So in this workshop, we learn how to quiet the ego, not have an agenda. Each person, when we're working together, if we're going to do it together. I think in this, I don't want to call it a mini thing because it encompasses a lot, but
Mm.
I'll say because it's not the full training, but
Sure.
like
Yeah.
the
It's a
the
taster.
the mini
Yeah.
thing is to get the ball rolling,
Mm.
to understand the process. So it's
Yeah.
like you don't have the agenda. Like I've diffused so many arguments. It's the curiosity that I talk about all the time. It's like, okay, that person, and my kids had said it to me before, this is the most recent one.
Mm.
Your dad, I don't know. They're like, I don't know how you do it. The like could be mad and ego yelling at you, like whatever, and you're just standing there calmly. And I don't take it, excuse me, but but I'm not letting it in.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
That's the because that love is not it's not I love that person. No, it's I love the state of being that I'm in and I
Mm.
love who I am.
Mm.
And this has nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's their
Mm-hmm.
that's it's all on them.
Mm.
What any other person says,
Mm-hmm.
does,
Mm-hmm.
feels, their process, whatever it is, it's on them. It has nothing to do with you. You might find a little bit of truth in some of the stuff they're saying. So it allows you to get the message
Mm.
even without the pain
Mm.
kind of thing. Even though
Awesome.
you're like, I don't fucking deserve this, and I would
Yeah.
walk away.
Mm.
But but that's what I'm talking about. It's
Mm.
like the heart is open, and all that means is really you are vibrating on a certain level, like you raised your vibration, your power, whatever you frequency, whatever you want to call it,
Mm.
and automatically that is protection
Mm.
from the emotional, psychological
Mm-hmm.
traumas of things. And
Mm.
I got really good at it. So, you know, so I want to be able to do that. I mean, I practiced it for 20 some years. I
Mm.
did the certification and the training and the whole thing with, you know, psychotherapists and intuitive, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's psychic work. So it's like, I call it psychic. It's intuitive development.
Mm-hmm.
It's like tuning into your emotions, tuning into what's going on, tuning into others.
Beautiful.
That doesn't mean, and sometimes like you'll feel what someone's feeling,
Mm.
but what really it's like whatever they're talking about saying, or the emotions or whatever they're saying, it's like it resonates with you.
Yes.
It's like different. It
Yeah.
resonates with you, and then you get a context
Mm-hmm.
for yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
both people
Mm-hmm.
are getting this therapeutic effect
Mm.
by expanding their conscious awareness of
Gotcha.
these things that are there that then you can release because you're in such a safe, loving,
Yes.
compassionate bubble sphere, of this frequency. So that's what it is. But you learn to notice things about someone. Like if
Mm.
I, what do I notice about, or I should have you do it. What do you notice about
I
me?
thought
The
you were going to
first
say what
thing
you're going to notice about me. Okay.
I was,
You
I can
can
do
if
it
you
if you don't want
want.
to.
No, I'm
Okay.
happy with that.
So your earrings. And
Yeah.
even though, I'm at a disadvantage sight wise because the screen is so small, it's like I was drawn to your earrings. The way um they're moving so freely
Okay.
when you move your head or smile. So, you know,
These are my
so
favorite earrings.
okay, they are. So then you might tell me why they're your favorite, earrings, or where, what they mean to you, or why you wore them today. If you didn't realize that, you might now.
Do you want me to tell you why I wore them?
Yes, of course.
Because I was told to wear them.
By a spirit ally?
Yeah, because I mean it's sun. Obviously, it's a Sunday today. Not obviously, because not everybody will know that it's Sunday at the moment, and I decided to wear yellow gold. And I haven't worn these earrings for a while, and I treated myself to them about a year or so ago. They're citrine, and
Ah,
I adore a shoon. And this is yeah, I feel comfortable and happy and relaxed, and they make me feel nice. Make me feel sunny.
okay. Yeah. There you go. When you're describing the feelings
Mm.
of that, it's just like I get like I see how you start to embody those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, but I also noticed that it might be harder for you to do that today for some reason. And um so that's like kind of the process. So it's like how
Mm-hmm.
this is what, so that, yeah, there's this emotion, and this is what I'm trying to bring to myself so I can
Mm-hmm.
embody these feelings,
Mm-hmm.
or feel supported
Mm-hmm.
in these feelings. On the other side of this is the feeling that I need that support.
Yes, that's correct.
So it's like, and then you can delve deeper into
Yeah.
why and
Mm-hmm.
all of that, and so you get to experience that emotion of support, and then that you needed support. So why did I need that support? Well, and then it kind of goes like that.
Mm.
So, it's the
Beautiful.
intuitive awareness thing
Yeah.
is tuning into someone, and it's just what catches your eye,
Yeah. Thank you.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's
You
one.
want me to do? And I won't do it back to you because you've used me as an example. So no, that's yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I can if you want me to.
Well, if you'd like to.
It's really funny. I've started doing that because I've never. So I look at you and I say what I've been really noticing about you. Yes,
Yes.
the glow of your skin. That's what I've been really noticing.
So I'm
And
going to do something to see if you pick up on that. So I was like, yeah, but that's, that has a lot
I,
to do with the lighting.
yeah, I was gonna say I felt that actually. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, um, the glow of your skin, I feel that you really wanted to show up today. You always show up, but I really felt you wanted to show up and be your best self. For me, you always are, but that's what that says to me, that you really wanted to show up as your best self. Um, and interestingly, you mentioned your age before, which you don't normally do. And to me, that's an acceptance, but you're glowing, and it's not just your skin. There's a glow about you because you said, as you said, the best job we can ever have is ourselves, is us. And that's what you're embodying. That's what encompassing. That is your passion. And as you're talking about your passion, your skin is glowing more and more and more and more. That's what I'm seeing.
Wow, Aileen, you got me teared up. You really did. And some of the things you said, like, here's the intuitive part. This is like this is meant for people to recognize
Mm,
how important even these little things are intuitions that bear meaning for some reason or need. It's one of the, I think I can't remember it now. One of the words you said was, I said it to myself.
wow. Okay.
I said it to something like, I feel like myself again. I really feel myself. You said I
Mm,
really wanted to show up today.
yeah.
And you're right. It's like,
Yeah.
I always want to show up today, but I
I
was
said yeah,
feeling
show up and be your best self. That
my
was,
best self.
yeah,
Yes,
that
that's
was
what it
the,
was.
yeah,
I was just
that's it.
like,
Yeah.
I feel like my
Theme.
best self.
Yeah.
And you encapsulated the feeling based on um, the glow. Like you saw whatever the frequency,
Yeah.
it shows up as a glow. And now what I did on purpose was,
Yeah.
because I wanted to share this with people,
Hmm.
was that, thank you, by the way, because that really went in, and it was a reminder of how much I hadn't felt like myself, and I
Oh,
hadn't felt like I was showing up
okay.
the way I know I can
Yeah.
in certain ways, even just for myself.
Hmm.
So so I feel like, okay, like I get to feel that again, what it feels like
Mm.
to show up the way
Coming up.
I want to. Yes. So do you see the emotions? It's
Yeah.
clearing. It's
Yeah.
clearing because I took in
Mm.
what you were saying. It was coming
Mm.
from a loving,
Really
compassionate. There was
beautiful.
no judgment or
Mm.
anything there. But what I did was I threw in a self-judgment on
Hmm.
purpose
Hmm.
because it really wasn't. I was
No.
like, oh, yeah, but it's the lighting.
Mm.
It's like a deflection of, I can't accept that information. So that wasn't true,
Mm.
that I can't accept the information. I was just kind of making an example
Hmm.
for that part. But it's like, then I would have to realize, like you would say, it's like, oh, I noticed that, like, you know,
You
you
deflected. You didn't want to
you
accept
you
that
you or
compliment.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
even use the word deflected, you
Okay.
know. It seems like you were attributing this glow just to the light.
Mm. Nice. Yeah.
But what I'm seeing
Mm.
is a natural glow that has nothing to do with the lighting,
Hmm.
and describe it.
Mm.
So that helps me. I might not even know that I did that.
Mm.
It's like, oh, so why can't I take that?
Mm.
Why can't I take that I'm glowing and I have this light and embodiment and
Mm.
so
And
forth?
explore that and release that.
So
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
this is how
Yeah.
you can become more aware
Yeah.
of
Beautiful.
the things you say to yourself, stuff like. So we
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah.
You know, what you say to yourself is the most important thing. What
Absolutely.
everybody else says doesn't mean squat, really. Whether it's good or bad. Like it feels
Mm,
good when someone's, well, not everybody, like, sometimes we can't take a compliment um, because of other things.
hmm.
But like, I want to, you could recognize it's just like, yeah, I know that about me. I remember that about me. But it's not like it's like you need the compliments. You
Mm.
need or the negative stuff too. So it's like that. It's like that. You're somewhere in the balance of this portal of. I'm just gonna. That's it. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah,
And
this
I'm not gonna
portal of
say
acceptance. It's beautiful. It's really
so
beautiful.
that you can feel these things and
Mm,
understand these things
mm,
and see these perspectives and not have an attachment to whether someone says something nice
and
or
values
accepts something
you
about
rather than
you
you
or
valuing
doesn't.
yourself. Yeah, it's
So that's
self-value.
part of it too. It's like
Yeah,
we
beautiful.
learn,
Yeah.
and then some people this doesn't. It's not those this luggage thing. It's like it gets you through things.
Yeah.
Like I ask, like if somebody is upset about something, whether it was my intention or not, they're really just delusional about it, or deflecting their own stuff.
Hmm.
Curiosity again. I always come to it. It's like I ask them, "What's making you feel that way?"
Mm.
I see that you're upset and you're speaking at me like you're upset with me. So that's how I'm perceiving it. So tell me what's going on.
Mm.
A lot of people would be like floored, like they're ready for a fight, you know, and you get nowhere with that. There's no
Mm.
communication, no
No,
no
absolutely.
understanding.
No.
It's just a battle of
Mm.
of you know a battle of
Yeah,
of
it's
whatever
just a
sort.
battle.
So so that's part of it too. So that's like
Mm.
a whole thing. I think it's so important. It's like
Gorgeous.
it's just it helps you learn how to have
Self-awareness.
experiences
Yeah. Mm.
to do that, and then you'll start to recognize it in yourself when these
Mm.
things happen. The more you
Mm.
train this way,
Mm. Gorgeous.
and then you do it for yourself. Um, so I was going to do that's one of in the series of the mini things,
Hmm.
and then there'll be the full workshop, and then the monthly practice kind
Hmm.
of thing that you can do.
Beautiful.
And then the other one is going to be more delve a little bit more into mediumship channeling, like higher energies, and there's certain practices that people can do.
Mm.
People you need, like I need it. Okay, I formulate them for myself, but like, okay, here's the information, here's the stuff. Now, what's the practical application for this? Because
Yes.
what's the point in doing something unless it
Hmm.
it has it has a practical application that's of value
Mm.
to you. You might have to explore it to find that value, but what you do. So, um, practical ways to get the process started wherever you are in the process. But I do want people to be able to tune into their ability to go to another sphere consciousness. So working with mediumship and channeling,
Yeah.
and it's not going to be necessarily. I do mediumship workshops, but
Mm.
like flow and spirit. But mine have to do with it's not just loved ones that have departed. That's important too because in the the quiet, I'll call it the quantum unity, et cetera. It's the quiet energy healing, I call it.
Okay.
Um, it's like the mediumship comes in, the channeling comes in, the channeling of Lemurian guides will come in because those energies need to. Angelic guides, like different different beings of
Hmm.
light.
Yes.
I won't name them all. Um, so so that's a lot, you know.
Yeah, that's loads.
So the focus of kind of the mini thing is really to be able to contact your higher consciousness or your guide
Mm.
because when that changed, that was life changing for me.
Mm.
I was getting guidance even when I was a kid and stuff like that, but it was when I really needed it. It was like I was in a dire something, and I would I would get
Mm.
like, get out, do this, move here, like we talked about, move to
Yeah.
Miami, you
Yes.
know?
For 2 years.
Yeah, I'm like, what? But I went.
Yeah.
So, and it worked out.
Mm.
So, so I listened. So I thought it was like a one-way street.
Mm.
And until I, learned how to, they call it Akashic Records reading, some people do, but it's like
Yes.
you're opening up to your guidance, and you can ask questions. I was
Okay.
like, you
I
can.
know.
And then once I like was tuned in, for myself, it's like I'm just like, holy crap. It opened up a whole world. So I want to get people to first start really
Mm.
tapping into that,
Mm.
because that has a practical application for yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Self-empowerment. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of listening to all the crazy
Mm.
conflicting opinions and things and stuff that's going
Mm.
on, you have to figure out who you can respect their opinion, or who you can respect their information enough to try to experience it, take it on for yourself and experience it a little bit to see if you can prove it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a little bit of time because there's a
Mm.
lot of stuff going on out there. But if you can connect to that higher guidance,
Mm. Filter.
it's like
Yeah.
soul to soul connection. It's like
Mm.
you can it's like if you're getting negative information, you're not connecting to your guide, or there's a distortion there from some patterning you have, you know, so interference or
Mm.
static.
Mm.
It's always going to be in your best interest.
Always positive. Yeah.
Always,
Yeah.
always, always. So, so that's, some people get nervous about
Mm.
connecting to higher,
Mm.
like spirit, because I don't want to say higher, but just like other vibrational
Mm.
entities on higher dimensions.
And anyone's only ever
Um,
given what they can handle at that time as well. That's,
yes.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I went through that myself.
Mm.
I was just like, oh, I'm seeing ghosts. I'm like, oh, what's that presence? Oh, like I was just like, I can't handle this. And I was like, shh. Later on, I got into energy healing work, and I got comfortable with spirit that was embodied incarnate
Mm-hmm.
in a person.
Mm.
And then I realized, oh, it's the same thing. And I had went through my hero's journey with darker spirit.
Mm.
Um, darker spirit. What the hell does that mean?
Mm.
It's just like distortions,
Mm.
or what do we call it? Phantoms.
Phantoms, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Energies that are created by
Thought forms.
thought forms of our negative thoughts and
Mm.
things and stuff like that. That's what I believe I was tapping
Okay.
into,
Yeah.
because I was an open, vessel with no direction or protection, and I learned how to protect myself by sheer force of will.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
um, so I needed to be able to do that. So I got to healing, and then I got more comfortable, and then I started, with the guides, and
Mm.
so I think that's a good start for people
Yes.
if
Yeah.
they're just starting out with that,
Yeah.
because there's nothing scary about it.
And it's all from love, that it all
It
comes
all
back to
is.
love. It's all self-love, self-empowerment. It's all from love. So I'll
Yeah,
put all the information so people can get
yeah,
in touch as well.
yeah. And even the rickety, the rickety. Why am I saying rickety?
I don't
The
know.
rickety old, mean people, that have passed or whatever.
The
They're
rickety
like
old mean
they
people. I
be
like
if
that.
they're gonna come in, they're gonna be
Yeah.
at a certain point in their shift back into spirit, where
Yeah.
they cleanse them, they get cleansed,
Mm-hmm.
um, to where it's like if they're coming, it's like they're not that personality anymore.
Right.
Their negative stuff. They've evolved from that.
Yeah.
So that's the fear factor.
The rickety old
And the
people.
yes, and the third one, I'll keep a mystery.
Yes, do because
I'll keep
well
it a
I
mystery.
can edit anyway and not say too much about each of them, but yeah, I can edit. But yeah, no, keep that a complete mystery. Yes. You missed it.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. The third one is actually working with energy.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
you're working with developing sensing and understanding what
Beautiful.
energy and how it flows
Hmm.
the body and how it's represented in all your physical systems in your body and energetic systems, and they all follow the same meridians, they all follow the same path. So that'll be in there.
Okay.
So I
I'm
think that'll
not saying any more.
no more,
No
no
more.
more,
No more.
no more.
Hey, thank you so, so much for being here. Amazing. All the advice. If you'd like to get in touch with Roberto, I'll put all the information down for you. And you can get in touch regarding workshops, listen to his music, find out some more information about the Ministry of Diamond Light. And just thank you, my lovely, for your gorgeous presence in the world. You are amazing, really, really amazing. And thank you so much for being here again. And your gorgeous support in everything. You know, you embody love, quite frankly. So thank you.
Thank you for that, because I do what I do what I do, and sometimes I just do it, you know, and to be reminded um, that you appreciate that helps me understand that what I'm doing is important.
Very important. It's crucial, to use your word.
Oh yeah, crucial
Yeah.
but it keeps me going. It keeps
Mhm.
me striving and going on my path, because
Mhm.
it's like we do need to see ourselves
Yeah.
and to have things reflected back to us.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it.
We've spoken lots of times before about how mirrors of what we need to be shown and seen, and that, my lovely, is your beautiful mirror for you to look at. The words that I just spoke.
Thank
Oh,
you.
that's okay. And thank you. I really, really mean it. Thank you so much. Oh,
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you and come on here and to be in your presence. And I love what you're doing.
thank
Um,
you.
keep doing it, because there's a lot of heart and there's a lot of love in what you're doing, and compassion. And I would say always give that to yourself.
Thank
And I guess I'm
you.
always, because you deserve that. It's that we all deserve it, but from me to you, you especially.
Thank you, my gorgeous. Thank you. So, and also, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of Roberto as well. um, yeah,
No, just
there
kidding.
you go. That's what I
Not,
actually
no, no,
noticed.
no.
No,
I
yeah. So
noticed your
I'm,
buxomness.
yeah. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I wish you all the blessings in the world, my gorgeous. And I wish you all the blessings in the world as well. And just really start to, as Roberto just so beautifully said, just see that beautiful essence that's in you as well. That is, if you're hiding, please bring it out. Don't hide anymore. You deserve the world. Thank you so much for tuning in.
And the world deserves you.
And the world deserves you. Lots of love. Bye.